This season on Survivor NCSU Humanities vs. STEM. On day one, castaways found themselves divided by major into the Vega and Danimals tribes. The Danimals tribe quickly found their footing, dominating the first two challenges and putting the already fractured Vega tribe at the bottom. Day two saw a tribe swap, and a surprise exile twist put the already weakened Vega members at even more of a disadvantage, as three more original Vega castaways saw their torches snuffed. With the Danimals tribe having a 7-3 lead coming into the new merged Mertz tribe, it appeared to be all but over for the remaining Vega members. However, Jake's hints of traitorous actions at his last tribal council caused the other 6 Danimals members to flip on him, taking out the very first old Danimals member. After things got shook up, Sean attempted to flip on his previous tribe, but it was much too late, as the emerging girls alliance of Nikki, Lindsay, and Anna already had Mark with them, causing Sean's plan to end in Aziza's elimination. On day 3, with only 2 Vega members left, Quinn and Caleb were able to successfully play their idols to take out Jacob and slightly delay the inevitable. Caleb, Sean, and Quinn tried everything to break up the powerful voting block that the girls alliance and Mark had become, but with Mark's individual immunity wins and Anna's convincing, the 4 stuck together for as long as they could. With only 4 remaining, who will take home the title of sole survivor? Will it be Anna, the leader of the Girls Alliance, whose strong social and strategic reads have carried her to the end of the game? Lindsay, whose positioning has allowed her to be an integral part of every vote while simultaneously lowering her threat level? Mark, the last obstacle for the Girls Alliance, whose charisma, charm, and challenge wins have made him a leader in an important swing vote? Or will it be Nikki, a strategic powerhouse and the strongest proponent for an all-girls Final 3 to ensure a woman takes home the win? There is only one challenge, one more vote, and one final tribal council standing in the way of one of these 4 becoming the new winner of Survivor NCSU. Who will have what it takes to outplay, outlast, and outwit all the others and take home the $100 prize and the second ever title of NCSU Sole Survivor? Come on in, guys.
Hey, Jeff.
Final 4.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Mark, how was the walk?
The walk was very nice. You know, it does feel like we're at the end already, even though we know there's one more person to go, because this was, I think, the goal for a lot of us was to be right here, and it made the walk even sweeter to kind of remember the successes we've had along the way.
All right. Well, you are right. We are not at the end quite yet. Mark, I will take it back. This is your final immunity challenge.
Woo!
Getting this today will secure you a spot in the final 3 and guarantee you a chance to speak to the jury and tell them why you deserve to be the one to get the title of sole survivor of Survivor NCSU Humanities vs. STEM and the $100 prize. Ready to get into this challenge?
Yeah.
All right, here's how it works. This is all about willpower and strength. You will be in a plank position in different intervals. We will make it harder and harder and harder. Last one to stay in a plank position will win immunity, will be safe at Tribal Council, and will be guaranteed a spot in the final 3. Everyone else will have a 1 in 3 shot of getting voted out at the next Tribal Council. All right. Say go, we will put your knees up and you'll get in the plank position, all right? 3, 2, 1, go. This challenge is on. Nikki, move your feet back a little bit more. All right. This is all about willpower. How long are you willing to go for immunity? This immunity is the most important one in this entire game. This one challenge will guarantee you a spot guarantee you a chance to win $100 and the title of sole survivor of Survivor NCSU Season 2. How much do you want it? Got some shaking going. Mark's looking pretty solid. Lindsay is out of this challenge, has no shot at winning immunity. We are down to 3. We have Mark. Nikki drops out of this challenge. Nikki has no chance at getting immunity. It is either Mark or Anna. How long can you stay? How much do you want this immunity? There is no padding left in this game. It is all up to this challenge. Both Anna and Mark really want to get this immunity. Mark's legs are shaking. Anna's being pretty still. Planking is all about core strength. Find it in yourself. You can keep up if you really want to. Mark shaking more. Anna still. Anna's still doing strong. Mark shaking more. Mark's looking like he's about to explode, but he's staying in it. As long as he keeps those knees above the ground, he is still in it. Mark shaking more. Anna readjusting. Mark is verbally struggling at this point. Whatever helps you keep in this challenge. This is the most important challenge of the season. It is all up to this. Anna lowering a little bit. Mark shaking, but he's keeping a good position. Anna's readjusting, trying to find a sweet spot. Anna's shaking a little bit. Mark's still vigorously shaking, but staying in it. Anna's starting to shake more now. Anna out of this challenge. Mark wins individual immunity. Safe at Tribal Council. Guaranteed a spot in the final 3. All right, Mark, come on up. For the 3rd and final time, Mark cannot be voted out at Tribal Council. He is safe, and he is guaranteed a spot in the final 3. As for the rest of the 3 of you, you will decide who to send home and which to stay in and plead your case to the jury. I'll see you at Tribal. Give you some time to think about it. Head back to camp. Good job, Mark.
I bet on myself. My plan has worked perfectly this entire game. This is exactly where I wanted to be. I will have 0 votes ever cast against me, 3 individual immunity wins, the swing vote at almost every single vote. I could not have asked to play a better game of Survivor. And this is just so reaffirming because I've always felt like this was the game for me. You know, I'm such a competitive guy, and I, would love to be the best at something. And that's why I fell in love with Survivor, because I saw this and I was like, that's what you can be the best at. And to come out here and play perfectly, I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. I bet on myself. I put myself in the position where I would be able to be the favorite going into a final immunity challenge where I needed to win because otherwise I was too big of a threat. I think the entire jury sees the incredible game I've played. I am very ready to articulate it to them. And I love all 3 of those girls so much. And it does suck to see them have to infight and cut one of their own and probably feel like they can't beat me. But that's what I was here for, was to beat them. And it makes this weekend so great. It makes it feel so worth it. And gosh, I'm just so ready to do it for real. I feel like I have to go fly to Fiji now and put on an absolute clinic because I don't know what I would have ever done differently at all. This went completely to plan. Did I tell you or did I tell you that this was our story? That last challenge? Are you kidding me?
I mean, yeah, no. What
an epic...
It was an epic. It was a brawl. And it was me going up against a guy that got me. But it's a good fight.
Yeah, it was a great fight.
We had a lot of fight in us.
You are the best and such a good competitor. It felt poetic.
Yeah,
really
that final fight.
It felt poetic.
Because if we're thinking about it,
Yeah, you were gonna vote me out.
So, as long as you're not gonna hold the line on me,
Yeah, we are. I've said for a while that, I've said pretty much since around the time Jacob left, with the situation I knew I was in, I have to feel comfortable and confident enough that I can beat anybody. So to me, it just can't matter. Like if one of you 3 already has me beat, fine. I don't think anybody can say there's anything else I could have done.
Yeah.
So if I've already lost, I've already lost.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go in there and try to win.
Yeah.
And I played this whole game with you. I've meant every second of it.
Yeah.
So you can just tell me where you and Lindsay are definitely lockstep. My only other thing is if you have any fear that they're gonna try to flip on you just because, I don't know, our dynamic, maybe, I don't know.
that is a fear.
And I hate that the challenge worked out that way, but I think everyone knows just the way this is gonna pan out. Unless I'm the only one who doesn't know, and then that's embarrassing. But it's Anna. It has to be. I floated the idea of Nikki, but that's the way it's gonna be. I feel bad for maybe giving Nikki false hope.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, I have a better thing with you than Nikki. I would rather write Nikki's name than yours. And I hate that we have to turn against her. But dude, if you want to be in the finale, this is our best bet. Because, dude, it's one of us. And we've had the same this whole time. I've had your back, you've had mine this whole time. We lost that with Nikki when she got split up, and I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate it. But
that's what I've been thinking this whole time. I'm like, if the swap had just been different, it literally would have been the same thing, but she'd be where I am.
Yeah.
Or
I'd be, yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm saying, because we had that this whole time, I don't want to break that with you.
Right.
I'm being honest.
It's a good story.
It's a good story for both of us.
That gives you the edge against me.
Hey, it would bring you up there, too. That that you had someone with you the whole time that was a ride or die that you stuck with to the end. And, I hate it. But I'm closer with you than Nikki, and so I'd rather write her name. Basically with this vote, Lindsay's been my ride or die throughout this whole thing, honestly, along with Mark, and so I would be really comfortable going into ending this thing with the 2 of them. I think that since Nikki's my weakest relationship in this, and because she got separated from me and Lindsay during the split, it only makes sense that like I'd put her name over Lindsay's, because I genuinely could not put Lindsay's name, and like it's gonna be really bad, but like I can't put Lindsay down, and Mark's obviously off the question because he has immunity, and I fought for that immunity. I did, but he got it, and honestly he's deserving of it. He's basically like nailed this whole game.
Mark played that merch perfectly.
Oh, perfect.
Mark played everything perfectly.
No, he was.
And I saw we saw it the whole time, and there was nothing we could do because he was playing so perfectly.
But also there were times that like he was in our hands.
Right.
That he definitely felt like we could just make a switch, and in theory we could have, but at the same time it's like we'd be on the line if it would have gone wrong. Exactly. And so like if we would have done that big talk that was discussed earlier of getting Mark out, if that wouldn't have worked out, like I need to think it over to see like what would have happened if it didn't. Right. But like he would have flipped on us, and we wouldn't be having this
he would have flipped that. He would have flipped. Yeah.
He would have like kept Shannon. He would have kept Shannon. Absolutely. Like he would have.
I miss everyone.
I know.
I miss everyone.
So we're good.
We are good.
We're good on this?
Yeah.
We have our votes.
I know.
We have our votes.
We're done. Well, almost. We're done with the challenges. One more vote. You're good.
We'll see.
Yeah.
The girls could pull it off.
I mean, I already nervous peed. I'm gonna nervous puke. I almost not nervous puke, like normal puked, but now I'm gonna nervous puke. This is stressful.
We will now bring in our jury. Jake, Aziza, Jacob, Caleb, Sean, and Quinn voted out at the last tribal council. All right, let's talk final immunity challenge. Anna.
Honestly, like I gave it everything I could. I always like to say that planking, it's mental until it has to become physical, and like I just collapsed. So I put in the work, put in the effort, and you know, he was supposed to get the immunity on that, so he got it. So not really, in theory, like obviously it's not perfect for my game because who wouldn't want to have immunity right now, but
he's supposed to.
You know.
Mark, do you feel like it was the sheer will that you knew you needed to win this one that won you this challenge?
Yeah, 100%. And I'm excited for everybody else on the cast to see the audible groans and moans that were coming out of my body as I tried to hold myself up. These girls were pretty upfront with me, and I, of course, as I should, did my best to see if I could build a contingency plan if I didn't win immunity. But the four of us have had a really great rapport throughout this whole game, and so from that relationship there was an understanding that if I didn't win this immunity it would be very hard for me to save myself.
Nikki, you are one of the three that can go at this this tribal council right before the final three. What is your pitch to Mark for why he should keep you in?
My pitch to Mark is kind of what he thinks is going to be best for his game. If he thinks that taking me to final tribal is a better play for his game and winning this overall game over any of the other two girls.
So you're focused on making sure Mark has a good game instead of your game?
I'm just trying to make it to final tribal.
All right, Lindsay, what's your pitch to Mark?
I've already given it. It's basically the way we've been playing the game the whole time. It's full circle. He's got to look out for himself though, and I obviously like respect that and understand that. So.
Anna, what's your pitch for keeping you?
Basically, my pitch is we've been in this from the start, and I think it'd be kind of poetic to end it together. And honestly, it's like you have to think like, who would you want to lose to? and what would feel the best as a win.
Do you feel like Mark would be able to, or would win against you?
Obviously it's a thought, but also the whole like ambiguity of like the jury and how they're gonna come up with like who they vote, whether it's gonna be, is this a burned bridge or is it like I have respect for you? And honestly, because of that and because of how we're like depicted on footage and how we see how the private conversations went, like that we weren't a part of, like no way of knowing.
Mark, how do you take in all these pitches? Like, what are you looking for in the vote?
Yeah, well, I'm very glad we ended on that note too, because I think an underrated part of getting the opportunity to win this last immunity necklace, other than the fact that it probably saved me, was that it kind of gives me a free moment right now to look at them for the first time, since I know that I'll be there. And I have long said, as I've watched my game unfold, that I need to face those 6+1 able to beat anybody there. Because what I've already done, I've already done. And the way the game shook out, I know that I was probably one of the more slimy players. I think that was just the luck of the draw. And no matter what the opinion might be on a lot of the people sitting over there feeling like I had their back and then I didn't, I am prepared to own that 200% and defend it, because I think it got me to where I am right here with a chance to win.
So for this vote out, are you looking more to add someone to the jury that will vote for you, or to make sure you're next to two people that have no chance at winning against you?
Well, as many people over there know, a lot of these votes have felt like, what is Mark gonna just write down over there? And so I feel like it's appropriate to leave it at that one last time.
Lindsay, do you feel like Mark has been controlling the game this whole time?
I do.
Nikki, do you also agree that Mark's been controlling the game this whole time?
I think he's controlling it this vote.
Only this vote?
Yeah. Well, no. He's had a lot of control this game. Yeah. It's hard to say who had the most control in each vote before this, though, because I feel like the four of us voted as a force for a lot of our votes.
Anna, when you go into a vote like this, what are you looking at? I mean, you know that Mark will have to sit next to you if you survive this vote.
Right.
How do you know who to choose going into the next tribal council?
Basically, like where my head is at right now is like, I think that this whole game has been telling of those strong, true bonds and alliances that you build with people at the beginning of the game. And I think that as a person, like, when you have those lasting bonds in such like a high intense situation and you've stuck it through and you've made it this far, you owe it to one another to help each other get through like that last hurdle. And so I'm gonna stick with the bonds that I've already put in place, and I have no intention, regardless of if I'm out of here or not because of it, I have no intention of breaking that bond.
All right, it is time to vote. You cannot vote for Mark. All of the other three of you are fair game. Lindsay, you're up.
I honestly, I don't know if they're playing too hard into it, but I feel like the vote is up to me.
I'm ready now.
All right, final four. I'll read the votes. First vote, Nikki. Second vote, Anna. We got one vote Nikki, one vote Anna. Nikki. 2 votes Nikki, 1 vote Anna. th person voted out of Survivor NCSU Season 2.
Sorry, guys.
And the
This
7th
is
and final
wonderful.
member of our jury. Nikki, Nikki, please bring me your torch.
Good luck, girls. Good luck.
Love you.
Go ahead, do it.
Nikki, the tribe has spoken. All right, final three. At the next tribal council, you will have your chance to speak your case to the jury of why they should vote for you to win the $100 and the title of sole survivor of season 2 of Survivor NCSU. Head back to camp. Think about your speeches.
Gosh, I got voted out. It's okay. I had a feeling. I'm just really proud of myself for going this far, and I think I played a really good game. It's a shame I never got to pitch it to the jury, but I guess now I get to make a big decision about the last 3 who just voted me out. So I've had such a good time, and I'm really happy I got to be here.
I needed my people, and I chose you.
It's gonna be so funny. Anna's gonna walk it back, and I'm just gonna be like, up to fate. It's up to the people we voted off.
Yeah, truly.
That is the whole idea.
I guess that's almost like the game Survivor. Have you
Right.
ever seen that?
Survivor?
No. Survivor. Wait,
I've
what's
never
that
heard
show?
of
No,
Survivor.
like you know, like how you survive in the wilderness.
Oh, like Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, except actually it's a little more boring because these people are not naked.
Yeah, like when you watch this footage, there's not just gonna be like a blur here the whole time.
I got naked for all my confessionals. Was that not what I was supposed to do?
Wait, are you serious? You did that?
Yeah.
Basically, none of like the footage can even be shown now. Like,
Guys,
so even if you make it, like you don't have any footage to like prove a point. Like you're out of here.
Well, there's like a Ken doll though, so like it's fine.
Okay, yeah, no, like, that's fine, I guess.
The only thing we have to do is try to figure out how to sell ourselves to the jury. I mean, I just am so happy this is the way that it went. And I know a lot of it was luck, but I really do feel like a lot of it was me executing on exactly what I wanted to do. I said from the very beginning of the game, I wanted to make sure I protected big personalities. There was always somebody else that had a logical reason why they were more dangerous. And I think those points were able to be put across because of the connections and relationships that I built with everybody on this cast. And that's what I'm gonna go try to say to the jury. I'm gonna own up to the fact that I was a little bit of a flip-flopper and somebody that, you know, kind of played the game dirty-ish, but I'm gonna try to implore them to see that if you take a step back, I stayed with 4 players of my original tribe the whole game. And in the process, I won 3 immunity idols and never had a vote cast against me, and was arguably a deciding swing vote in almost every single merge boot. I'm very proud of the way that I played, and no matter what happens, I'll still be proud because I couldn't have asked for this to go any other way.
All right, ready? I gotta not be on an ant right
I
now.
could just do more like B-roll for you guys right now, if you want us to do like random shit.
She was like, Anna and I have like a little montage maybe.
Oh man.
I love Will. I love Will. He's so funny. What does he say? What's
Oh crap, the sun's already there.
Ryan has
Okay, there we go.
hit his time.
And we will now.
His last shot.
Wait, what does he say? We will now.
Oh yeah. It's acrobatic.
He did do that.
He's got his aerobics in.
All right.
I honestly should not have said yes to this confessional. I don't have enough time to digest what just happened. And honestly, for a while there, I was like, this has worked out in my favor. Like, I got a little paranoid, but I really did it. I had like really secure final 3 from multiple perspectives. And it's because like, no one sees me as a threat to their jury vote. And hey, maybe that'll play into my advantage. Maybe the jury will see that. And I know that there are some people in the jury who thought I was a threat. And Honestly, it could go either way.
This is my bad side profile.
Okay,
we're
so
gonna-
Yeah, you would say that.
Gordon, you've treated us so well. We named you, and you blessed us.
Gordon.
He's staring right at us
He
too.
is. He knows our souls.
Because of him, like, we're here. Like, he is the reason why we're here. He chose us, guys.
Let's take a moment in silent reflection.
He's turning away. He
He
doesn't
is.
care.
He's done with us.
Related at all. Oh, I can't. The same effect. Everyone be quiet. I chill.
And I just want to say this. Mark, this little play about, like, just being everyone's best friend, like, executed perfectly. And I know that, like, we've been in this together, but I've been suspicious of you from the start. And if, like, it'd be an honor to lose to you, and it would be a good feeling to beat you. So we'll see. It's in fate's hands.
It's nerve-wracking, you know. I want to win. It'd be nice to have made some money doing this all weekend, and it's really not even about that. It's just the genuine effort I've put into this. I decided that if I was going to indulge myself in this weekend, that I was going to give it my all, and it's already nice to sort of see for myself that my gut was right, that I'm made for this type of game. But that will just be validated 10 times over with a title, you know? So, let's go do Final Tribal.
That was bad. That.
Anna,
Ryan.
Mark, Lindsay. Welcome back for the last time. Alrighty, we'll now bring in our jury. Jake, Aziza, Jacob, Caleb, Sean, Quinn, and Nikki voted out at the last tribal council. All right. Lindsay, Mark, Anna, you have made it as far as you can in this game. At this tribal council, the power now shifts from here over to the jury. These 7 people that you either directly or indirectly had a hand in voting out are now going to give one of you 3 the title of sole survivor of Season 2 of Survivor NCSU, Humanities vs. STEM, and the $100 prize. Your job? Convince them and answer their questions to tell them why you are the one that needs to win this game and deserves it more than the other 2. All right, we're gonna start with your opening statements. Lindsay, you can go first.
Of course I can. I'm just gonna start off by saying I made it to Final 3. I don't think really that was ever super, like, I had a couple set Final 3s and it was just always gonna go my way. And I played my cards right and I got here. There's something to be said for that. And also, I started off as I thought what was pegged as a threat, and I realized that, and I backed down. I backed down hard, and so I played the game the way I thought I would win. I saw that I was going up against 2 other very social people, and I knew that. And a lot of times I was at like a physical disadvantage and challenge disadvantage, and so I knew that I had to be careful about where I placed my cards. I knew that my place was not the most precarious, but it definitely could have swung out of my hands. But I made sure that it was, you know,
worked out. I'm final 3, and I had a couple final 3s in my hand.
All right, Anna, your opening statement.
Basically, I just say that, like, you know, I came in here and I played hard, but I played true to myself. Looking back on all the decisions I made, I don't really think I changed any of them. And my mindset throughout this whole thing has been like, how can I get through this without hurting as many people? And I really tried my hardest to not burn that many bridges. Obviously, some votes had to be made to save myself, but isn't that the game? And so I just thought that I was basically playing true to myself, and that hopefully I have some allies out there that can see that.
All right, Mark, your opening statement.
Well, as I sort of started to talk about last tribal, I think my mission is going to be owning my game. And I want to start doing that by explaining what my strategy was coming into the very first second we all saw each other on Friday. I was very, very aware of how big of a personality I am, and I thought my mission throughout this whole game was to try to hide that as long as possible. So from the very get-go, I decided that I wanted to keep as many other big personalities around me as possible, so that way as we continue to progress step by step, there would be other shields in front of me that would take those stray bullets and leave me still standing. And I would say I'm proud of the way I executed that strategy, and I think I did it very well. As far as the mantras of this game, I believe that, obviously outlasted by coming to Final 4 with my initial intended Final 4 from my original Danimals tribe, successfully wiping out the Vega tribe. I outlasted and outplayed by hustling in immunity challenges. I was the only person to win multiple immunity challenges, and I won 3 of them. And I even won the last one to get myself here in this spot. I also was successful in helping my team win 2 pre-merge immunities on the first day, which I think helped set my course of having extra majority protection to go through the rest of this game. And I'm also very proud of my social game, because I think even as we saw in that Final 5 immunity, where I knew you guys the best to end up winning that, I was very deliberate and intentional in the relationship I built with you guys to make sure I was in that position to be in the middle, to know where the different sets of power were trying to put votes. And I think at almost every tribal council post-merge, it was me and a few others that had the decision on where the vote was going to go. I made it through this whole game without a single vote cast against me. I again have won 3 immunities, and I believe I built the strongest relationships with people sitting here, and I think you should vote for me to win.
All right, jury, you have heard everyone's opening speech. It is now your turn to ask them questions and get any information out of these 3 that you need in order to make your decision. All right, Jacob, you're up first.
Congrats, top 3. Glad for all of y'all. Now I'd like to start off this by saying, this is not a court of law. I do not have to be an impartial juror, and I don't plan on being one. Put that out there. Lindsay, I'd like to say, I will give you the winning vote if you will say yes to this question. If you get the $100, will you please be put on anxiety medication?
Oh my god!
No, it's just a statement. I'm sorry. It's
Right.
just a statement.
No, yeah.
I want to let you know, it's not a personal attack. I'm just letting you know, I think you're a very emotional player. It's a game of mind over matter. It's very stupid to say my name in front of me. Anna, we're in the presence of some great players all here, and some that have got voted out pre-merge, pre-jury. To quote one, social deposits and strategic withdrawals. We had none. You had no social deposits with me, so you have no strategic withdrawals with me. Congrats, Mark, you got my vote.
Thank you, Jacob.
Quinn, you're up.
Hello, congratulations guys. The reason I decided to go second was because some of you guys are going to have a tough night tonight. So I would make it a little bit easier. Anna, I think you have a game that's under-respected by the jury, so I'll ask you a question first. When you were sitting right there on the Ziza vote, I made a mistake, and Sean was wondering who we were voting for, and I said, we're voting Anna, we're voting Anna.
Yeah.
And I saw your face, and your face dropped. And we went through that vote, both of us survived, but you weren't mad at me, and I was surprised. So could you explain that?
Yeah, honestly, like, I basically, when I knew that people voted against me, I, like, afterwards, when we were obviously still on the tribe together, I put myself in your shoes, and I asked myself, would I have made the same decision? And honestly, for anyone else who can kind of have the same story as you, I would have. And so I can't honestly sit there and say that I wouldn't have made the same vote as you. And regardless of any social ties or any friendships that are made, like, this is a game, and, like, we're here to win. And genuinely, like, you made the decision that was best for you in that moment, and how can I be mad at you for that?
Okay. Also, I'm an indecisive person, and I may not know who I'm voting for, so I just want to get it out of the way and have a tiebreaker. So I'm thinking of a number 1 through 10. Anna? Your number?
Number 1 through 10?
Yeah, it's not complicated.
I'm gonna go with a lucky 7.
Okay.
I'll go.
Don't say 6.
You don't want me to say 6?
Don't say 6. I won't respect you.
I'll say 4 then.
Okay.
I'll go 1 through 10. 1.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Caleb, you're up next.
All right. Sorry, I have a few questions because as a fan of the game, I want to make sure I'm making the best informed decision. So I'll start with Lindsay, and like, no, none of these are like that personal. Like, I do this also for, you know, the cameras, the fans. So Lindsay, I want to know why you came out here to play, because I came out for entertainment. I came out for fun. I know some of them came out to win, some of them came out to make friends, and from what I saw, I don't know as much about why you're here, like what you wanted from this, because you said to get to the end with in your speech with you have the combinations and you think this is the right winning one. So I just wanted to figure it out.
I came out here, completely honest, entertainment. I was here for fun. I was here to make friends, and I think I had a good time, like, playing socially. I do love playing social games, and I played authentically. I think I was trying to build a lot of relationships with people regardless of the outcome, but I saw a future where I had some set final threes, and I was like, you're in a game, you're in a social game, play to win. And I saw a lot of other people playing to win too, so it was me or a social game, and I played the best of both worlds, I feel like. So
Okay, that's fair. Mark, I'll just move on to the line. I have a few for you, because on the jury, there's a lot of talk between, well, you and Anna, is like from the start, yesterday even, the challenge, the writing one, touchy subjects, you know, you guys were both written positively. I want to like really learn to differentiate and like figure out, get to the bottom of this, because I think you both played great games.
Thank you.
From my eyes. I mean, like, credit as well, like, I'm just saying, like, my piece. How did you get 3 girls with boyfriends to follow you so loyally, like, close together like that? Like, you all, like, I wouldn't be shocked if, like, you were, like, knowing each other. Like, how do you get bonds that strong with people? Like, where I thought by getting out Jacob, possibly you'd fear a girls' alliance, but you just embraced it, like, fully. I want to just know the thought process there, because you mentioned shields.
Yeah.
But I feel like at a certain point you thought you didn't need shields.
Yeah. Well,
so
I
just want to hear that.
I'll answer your question a couple ways.
Okay.
I think the unit of these 2 girls and Nikki actually kind of all morphed into a huge shield, and it was really truly my intention for a long time to put myself in that winning position at the Final Four Tribal Council. And again, it kind of comes back to one of my first comments about how big my personality is. I knew as much as I might have wanted to try to stifle it, if I was lucky enough to keep progressing through this game, I would have been in a spot where I was looked at as a threat. And as you said from the challenge where we were all sharing our, opinions, it was evident that was the case. So for me to build good relationships with these 3 and choose them over some other bigger players, shields are awesome to have, but they're good to have because they're supposed to be shed. If you go to the end with all of your shields, there was no point in having them. And not that that discredits any of the thing these 3 girls did, but I wanted to play a big game, and I wanted to just stand there on that dock and either win or lose. And I think that I did that. And answer the other part of your question as far as how I was able to build relationships, I mean, everybody here is just awesome. These are 3 great people. Everybody else is great too. I just happened to form good initial bonds with these guys, and I focused a lot on them. There's no secret sauce that I have. It may be the weird dichotomy, paradox, whatever. It's just that for as much as I scheme, I'm being genuine about 90 to 97% of the time, and that's really all there is to it. Is I was very forthright, especially with the 3 of them, and I feel like it helped garner their respect.
All right, mine it's like a 2-parter for this next one. It's like, you mentioned shields are meant to be shed, yet you voted out Nikki, who was voted for some of the more negative things of not winning game, over even trying to get rid of Anna, who is clearly also seen as a jury as a threat, and someone who would, in theory, you'd want to shed.
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
Yeah, no, and I'm glad you're giving me the chance. Yeah, go ahead.
Sean said you didn't even try to talk to him in his booth. Like, did you just give up after me because I was looking after the idols? Like,
I will explain both those votes. I'm very happy to.
Like,
so I'll explain the Nikki vote first. With the Nikki over Anna, and it was nothing against my relationship with Nikki. My relationship with Anna was just a little bit stronger, I felt. I feel like we were a bit more of a strategic, like, back and forth for a majority of this game. I probably only say that because she was the first person ever to come up to me and say that she heard my name get thrown out. So for me, that was just a huge, like, and that happened pretty late in the game. There wasn't like this has always been like, it's me and Anna. She just made that decision, and I felt like it should be rewarded to go show loyalty to her. Because I'll repeat one of the other things I said earlier. I felt like for a while, I've needed to already be at a place where I was good enough to beat everybody, and that does include her. Why I fully chose to keep Anna instead of Nikki is because Nikki very, very, very nearly convinced me that I should vote out Anna. And I think my biggest strength as a player is my ability to articulate myself, and I think Nikki's the only person sitting over there that I would trust to do that better than me. So while you're perceiving this as me taking a bigger threat, I think Nikki had a better chance of stealing this win from me through her ability to communicate, and so that's why I stuck with these guys.
I like that.
The Sean vote...
It's not about the vote, it's about not even trying to talk to him.
Yeah. Well, so there was a couple things that happened. We came back from camp, and it was definitely my peak paranoia from the whole round of the game. And because of the decision we made the vote prior, I felt like I was fully in the box with those 3 girls. And I told them to their faces, I said, you guys have the power to just cut me right here. It was actually their relationship with Quinn, and Quinn was the one to suggest a buddy system. Sean and Nikki had gone into the woods first, initially coming back from tribal, and they had a quick, literally just one-on-one conversation that probably didn't even have to do with anything. But my paranoia was peaking, and I was trying to be cognizantly aware of that. So when Quinn said, hey, we should just buddy system and not move a muscle, who am I to give up a way to make sure I stay safe when I was vulnerable at Final 6? So Sean, I'm sorry about that, and I know that you deserved a lot better, but I felt like it was self-preservation mode to the max. And as we saw, I won the immunities out from there. So I think it was the right decision that I made.
Good. All right. Yeah, sorry I took a minute. My question for you is, what part in the game, why did I say Quinn? My brain's a bit bad. If he never won immunities, say there was no necklace, when were you cutting?
Basically the plan was that the last jury vote that Nikki was out, it would have been Mark, 100%.
So it would have been the very last one.
Yeah, so my thought process about, like, keeping my alliance with Mark this whole time was, like, I noticed that, like, we had good vibes and everything on Friday, and I was like, I think that, like, we could carry each other to the end. And it was true, we did, and it worked perfectly. I think there were a lot of times that we saved each other, and he's a really strong, competitor, and I think I was a pretty strong competitor, too. And so, honestly, I think it's, like, he needed to go, though, because I wasn't as confident about a jury vote against me v. Mark. So in an ideal world, it would be Nikki sitting over here with me. But I needed to stick to my girls for, since Friday, because me, Nikki, and Lindsay, we went into this being like, we want to go to the end, and we went as possibly far as we possibly could to get there, and it would have been between the 3 of us, and so no, I do not regret playing both sides of that this whole weekend, and it's an honor to be here with anyone that's sitting next to me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I go back up there, I want to see more of the you taking credit for strategically leading the girls. Claim the strategic parts of it more than the social.
Okay.
That's what I want to see from you. I want to see the rest of these questions. Great job to all of you. Didn't mean to I'm sorry if I got a little mean at any point in the game in general, or to anyone rewatching.
We love you, Caleb.
Thank you, Caleb.
Thanks. And adieu.
All right, Jake, you're up.
Hello, everyone. It's been a second, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So I can't help but notice that it looks like you brought, what is that, some sort of flag right there?
Oh, yeah.
Anna, could you do me a favor and tell me what is that flag?
It is the Danimals flag.
Ah, the Danimals. The mighty Danimals. Final 7, right? Yeah. That didn't quite pan out, did it?
It did not, no.
So, in 6 extra votes over here, 6 people have come out. Not one of them has been able to give me a definitive answer on why I was the first one sitting on that rock over there, which leads me to believe that the answer must lie with one of you 3. So, I want to ask, who's claiming credit for being the one to start that?
Well, actually, I rose my hand to give credit to Anna, actually.
Okay.
And so I wanted to say we actually talked a lot about it, and I think that Anna was the one. I think the biggest concern at the time was that you literally might have 3 idols, and so we didn't really know what the hell to do. And
I'm going to cut you off. I want to hear it from
Yeah.
Anna.
Sure, go ahead.
Basically, Jake, I'm gonna be 100% for real with my thought process with this. I was thinking to myself, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable leaving you out here hanging when I had Caleb come and approach to me and be like, with this next vote, I am voting with you. I don't want to have any sort of ties to Old Vega. He was like, I am voting with you on this now. And I didn't have that sort of immediate confirmation from you. And there was also the hesitation that in the previous vote against Jameson, that you were gonna flip on Lindsay. And like I've said before, even considering flipping on one of my girls, I was like, no. And so to me, I would take the more obvious, for this vote only kind of alliance that Caleb was offering. And I was like, it's a hard decision because honestly, I had loved getting to know you when we had that bond, me, you, and Lindsay during the tribe switch. But I will take credit for kind of being the mastermind behind the blind side on that.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but Caleb did not vote with you on that vote.
Well, you got me there. He did not vote with me on that vote, but he gave me this sense of assurance that he was gonna vote with our group. And honestly, I hadn't seen. To me, it just felt like you were hanging on to the tribal lines, but there wasn't much of a person to person I'm gonna vote with you, I'm gonna have this alliance. I didn't see you approach me and Lindsay at all being I want the 3 of us to stay strong in this. It was more of me and Lindsay being we got this, stay strong, Danimals, stay strong.
Yeah,
but
I thought it was implied because Danimals Forever was the whole thing.
Danimals Forever
And we were
another
the 3 of us were also concerned about the other 3 Danimals on the other tribe. I thought we were pretty solid that the 3 of us were gonna come together for that.
Right, but I wouldn't have put it past you to make the switch. And when I heard word that there was a potential that you'd flip on Lindsay, to me, the risk of Caleb lying to me or not, I honestly I needed to protect Lindsay in that moment, and I did.
Lindsay, in the Jameson vote, I was very upfront with you, was I not? I told you that it was very possible that you would hear your name, but you needed to trust me.
Yeah.
And I followed through on that, didn't I? So I'm confused on what the concern is there. I was completely open with you the entire time.
Listen, if the majority comes to me saying Jake, and it's my name getting thrown out, then at that point I was probably considered the biggest.
It was not your name getting thrown out at that time.
But
it was.
If that was true, they came to me very last minute and they said majority is Jake, and I weighed my options and I said I have to vote Jake. That's the majority.
All right.
Can I finish what my train of thought was
go
for
ahead.
you? I just wanted to have an opportunity to reiterate one of my points of strategy. So where I was going with that was, you were obviously the first merge group, right? And we unfortunately did get swapped away from each other. So I was hearing all the stories of your potential flip, whatever may be true or not. And all of a sudden there was a target on you. That combined with the fear of all of the idols, I think that's a demonstration of playing into my strategy, even though I let Anna lead that vote, and we all kind of did. You were a name that wasn't me, that was being thrown out. Your threat level was very elevated. I didn't know if it was going to elevate in the future. For you to leave right then just helped me get one more round further. So I just wanted to demonstrate that as like an addition to what my consistent strategic thinking was, and that's why I wrote your name down.
I just want to say that, like, also another thought for me was that if you had a potential to flip on Lindsay, I was thinking, okay, like, you have a potential to flip on me, and I thought that if we were to survive, like, if you were to be, like, final 5 with me, like, I genuinely could not put, like, that trust in you, so.
All right, so then my final question for you, Anna, is why do you deserve my vote? Why do you deserve the vote of someone who you organized an entire rebellion from everyone that I thought was loyal to me on a paranoid whim that was incorrect?
Honestly, Jake, I deserve your vote because I had the guts to do it. And, like, how can I be here and play this game and say that I'm going to be in Survivor if I'm not going to make the risky move, if I'm not going to put myself out there? Like, straight up.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jake.
Aziza, you're up.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
I think we can all say that, like, Survivor's a really humbling experience, and we all loved playing it. Yeah. I'm proud of you guys, I guess, for being here. Like,
Thank you.
Good job. I'm gonna get a little mean.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Just let
Please
it
do.
rip. Let it rip.
I feel as though, Lindsay, you were kind of a goat the entire time. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, like
Yeah.
like in the game
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
Do you think you could speak to that at all? Or, like, what did you do? Did you just feel safe and get taken? Because you didn't make any big moves. You didn't build a resume at all. I don't think.
My big moves, they couldn't pan out in initially because of these two over here. And so all cards out on the table for everybody. I saw that they were playing each other hard for the end. You know, like, they were like, I'm taking Mark with me to the end. Instead, Anna, always, because I saw Mark's playing from the beginning, right? And I had Anna on my side. And I wanted Mark out, and Anna would not let it happen. And so I saw that they were writing each other for the end. I said, I'll stick it out with them, do a 3, and if I have to, like, that's why I kind of talked to you. I was
talk.
Oh, you know what? Actually, that's
Wait,
so
talk?
right, and I should address that.
Wait, talk?
I should address that. I did not get the chance to talk to you at first because Anna goes to you first. Nikki goes to you first, and I think they're telling me about a girl alliance. I say, okay, you know, that sounds good, and we can get Aziza in on that, and we can use that for our numbers, especially if the boys and the girls end up clashing. And so, especially since you had the power at that point, and it was good to get you on our side. Anna is, I followed Anna. I will admit it. I fully saw that they were playing each other, and I followed both of them to the end because I knew that she would not let me get Mark out.
Okay.
I found that out very quickly after.
She would not let you get Mark out.
The
biggest threat, really.
I pitched it multiple times, and I know that everybody else who was like left, they heard me say it, and I put myself at risk putting Mark out there, but I had to say it. I did because I saw the game he was playing, and it was a little too similar, like kind of trying to play like both tribes. You know what I mean?
I have again a little bit of a mean question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is the probability that you think you win this?
I think it's slim. I'll admit it. Like, I think I was planning. I promise you guys I was playing this game. But honestly...
No, I mean, you made it here.
Yeah, I did. And so I think there is something to be said for that. And, I mean, if you guys think about it, I had a couple ways to get here, like I said. Yeah. But
Maybe some ways would be better. Other ways, maybe.
Exactly. But again, these two... I was riding their coattails, and that was the way it had to be, essentially, because the way they both kept coming to me and kept saying, Mark, Anna, like
to each other?
No, coming to me. They said, I feel good with Anna.
You know, get out
I feel
each
good
other.
with Mark.
Okay.
And no, they weren't telling me to get them
they
out.
weren't telling each other.
They were saying they're good.
Oh my
and
god.
so I'm sorry.
Oh my
I should clarify
god.
that.
Mark, I am so impressed that you are here. You were the biggest threat. I don't understand how you made it. So you have my vote, honestly.
By the grace of God.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, I think you were the biggest. I just don't understand how much you've won so many immunity idols, so social with everybody. He was hugging on everybody. Oh hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm here. Like on you. He is the biggest threat. How did you miss that? How did you fumble? I mean, I fumbled the bag, but I feel like this is fumbling the bag.
I think genuinely, like, my thought going into, like, when to cut off Mark, I knew yesterday, probably, like, as soon as there was a merge.
I was, like, screaming to me.
No, you're good. I knew as soon as there was a merge that one of my best chances of making it in this spot would be to ride with Mark to the end. And the thing is, it's so true.
What?
It's so true. Because I had my girls. No.
Okay, wait, no. I don't. Okay, you had 3 women. Right. At one point, you were the majority.
Right.
How did you just knock out? He didn't have immunity sometimes. That was the time to do it.
There was no way to do it with Nikki, Lindsay, and I. There was no way to, like, get Mark out in a set way that would have everyone shine.
Okay, wait. Caleb just made it. Caleb, you would have. I don't know. I just feel like there were so many options, but I wasn't playing.
Have a
you know.
chance when he didn't have immunity at 6, and you had 2 people who were like.
The thing is, I knew that, like, me, Lindsay, and Nikki, like, we wanted Mark out because we didn't want to be here against Mark right now.
Okay. Following that.
Yeah.
If you wanted Mark out, when did you think he was a threat?
Oh, Friday.
Friday. Okay, you knew Friday.
Yeah.
And I was like, I whispered to Nikki, hey, let's do a girls' alliance. Hey, let's do a girls' alliance. I am now in. I've talked to you for 5 minutes, you for maybe 30 seconds, and you tell me it's you and Quinn. You need to use your idol.
Yeah.
The new alliance person, you are handicapping them of their idol, and you're taking their biggest threat. How do you think that I would ever go with that?
Honestly, like,
why did you tell me that?
I told you that because in the time whenever I heard that you wanted to pair with me, Nikki, and Lindsay and do a girls' alliance, and I was like, okay, like, if she has idols, like, we could all benefit from that. So I went over there, I was like, I want you to preserve your idols. So that other time when I told you, like, don't use your idol, I meant that from the bottom of my heart, because I wanted you to keep that, because I knew that, like, that would be power for all of the girls. And so, were you talking about the time when...
Oh, no, this is the time after.
Okay.
You said use your idol. So it was... who just let us? Jake left.
Jake left.
It was me, Quinn, it was a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But it was right after Jake left.
Okay, so who got out that vote?
Me.
Oh,
so, like, once you told me that, I went, oop,
that was
we're
the
not.
big one?
Yeah.
And I said for you to use your idol?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, you were right, kind of, now that I'm thinking about it.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So my whole thing was, at the end of the day, I wanted to preserve the girls here, and I saw that your name was going up on the block hard, and I was like, I want her to use her idol because I want to keep her in this game, because I had never had a chance to play with you. I had not had a chance to talk to you. We had no sort of rapport or friendship together, but genuinely I was banking on that we could help each other and we could get each other to the end. But the minute that you sat over there and there was the talk of you going against me, I was like, okay, I guess the girls
gloves are off. Yeah.
All bets are off. And it was genuinely it was genuine on my part that I wanted to have that with you. But I guess whenever everyone else came into it, and that kind of sealed the deal for any sort of girls alliance with you.
Okay.
So it was genuine that I wanted the best for you in that moment. So
no problem. Yeah. Okay. I guess that was a good case. Good job. Okay.
All right, Sean's up next.
Hey guys.
Thornton.
So, I just want to hear, Mark and Anna, how you guys both took risks while you were playing. So Mark, what was your biggest risk you took?
Yeah.
How did it pay off? How did it get you here?
Yeah, I think I would use the word patience synonymously with risk throughout my game. I think a lot of it was the temptation from a lot of the minority votes, many of which you ended up being a part of spearheading, that, you know, it was the titillating thing to, like, go make the big switch, the big move, and try to shake up the game. But I decided to be patient instead, and I want to proudly say that I think that's just as equal of a risk, especially as we keep coming back to the fact that the risk I was taking was to stay with 3 girls who I later found out were very solidly aligned together in a girls' alliance. I appreciated the position I'd put myself in, and so time after time, whether it been when you were voted out, when Caleb was voted out, when Quinn, well, probably not when Quinn was voted out, but you get my point.
Yeah.
I had opportunities, many of which when I was the deciding swing vote, to change the direction of the game. Every single one of those votes was a risk, and it led me to this spot, and so I'm glad I made what I believe is the right decisions.
Sure.
My risk was about being patient, because in this game when anxiety runs to 1,000, sometimes the hardest thing to do is stay the course. And it was very hard for me to do that many times, even up until choosing to vote Nikki out. Like I said, Nikki had me really worried that I stood no chance at all against Anna. I really started to doubt myself. And time after time, my decisions in the voting booth, from patience and trusting the game that I played, were risks of betting on myself.
And were you worried at all taking Anna into the final?
I was worried taking everybody into the final, but again...
Just like this 3 right now.
This right here, I will admit I was more worried about Anna than Lindsay, if that's what you're looking for. But...
Well, what I'm saying is, were you worried about taking her over Nikki?
No, so I'll repeat, it was sort of a question I answered earlier. The reason why Nikki was more of a concern is because I felt she could articulate herself better in front of this jury right here. And so therefore, between those 2 options, I felt like I was taking out the bigger threat.
So you were nervous with her, just less nervous?
Correct.
Okay, now, Anna.
About the risks?
Yeah.
I'd say that some of my biggest risks that I took in this game, number one, the obvious one, is sticking with Mark to the end, because I think that it could most likely be my downfall, but at the same time, it's what got me here in the first place, because of the way that the minorities settled during those votes. And I also think that I had a big risk in kind of spearheading a lead for the girls this whole time. I knew I had Lindsay's vote on my side basically this whole time. I knew that she was my strongest ally here through thick and thin, and I knew that she wouldn't be writing my name down on anything. I think that taking a side from the girls and knowing that it could easily be sniffed out of there, some sort of girls alliance and everything, and still deciding to do it, knowing that Mark could flip, join with the majority of boys and pick us girls off 1 by 1, I was like, I'm too strong into this, and I want to see it through. That was probably the biggest risk I took with just being too predictable.
So in summer, your biggest risk was the girls' alliance or bringing Mark to the end?
I think that those are actually both the same thing, because Mark threw himself onto the girls' alliance knowing that we were super strong in that, and just basically banking on the one immunity that he got, or else he wouldn't be here right now.
I guess the point of my question is, how was your biggest risk paid off? How did it pay off, right? You brought Mark here. I think Mark should win. I think he's going to win. So I don't think that one paid off. Your girls' alliance didn't really pay off because Mark's not a girl. Right. So my point and my question was, how have you made a risk that paid off in your opinion?
I think that a risk that I made that paid off was genuinely putting myself out there as trying to spearhead any sort of revolution or any sort of combined votes in order to get me as far into the game as I could. Because I knew, I said in the beginning, I was I thought I was leaving on Saturday, all this. So my goal honestly was just to get literally as possibly far as I possibly could. And the risk that I put into that was just aligning myself with harsh competitors and people who would keep me on my toes and people that I could not trust one bit throughout the whole time.
I also want to clarify something, because you said that Lindsay said that you guys were always coming back and forth saying you wanted to work with each other, but then you said you wanted to get Mark out.
Right.
And then you said you brought him to the end.
Yeah.
So you wanted to get him out, but you brought him to the end. Which one is it?
So basically, if he wouldn't have won immunity, he wouldn't have been here. But I thought in my best bet that if it came down to the vote that got you out, I was worried that if there was a moment there that we were considering blindsiding Mark, and in that moment it was if we failed to blindside Mark, then he would have lost all 3, we would have lost Mark, which in that moment he would have joined the remaining boys that had the majority, and all of us girls would get kicked off.
Little comment she made just made me want to actually clarify. I'm not changing my answer because I think it's still exactly the same, but more of a concrete example for you to look at. And I would say the final 7 vote with Caleb. because that's maybe the most literal middle I was ever in. It was these 3 girls and you 3 guys. And that risk led me all the way to the final 4 immunity challenge when I knew damn well that if I did not win that challenge, I was not going to be sitting here right now. So from that moment, I completely made my bed. I was going to go with these girls and I was going to bet on myself to win that final challenge. And that was the biggest concrete, specific part of my patient strategy that was a very big risk, because all it took was 1 immunity loss at the very end there, and I wouldn't be talking to you right now.
I wanna believe you. I think it was your alliance with Anna that more influenced that, you taking her to the
Which is
end.
fair.
Which, okay. But I think the thing about you and Risk is that you were on the top the whole time. I was painfully aware of it. I was trying to get people to turn on you, Nikki included.
Right.
So you didn't really have to take too many risks. My question was more pointed at Anna on how she took a risk, because she's sitting here with the person that we literally all said would win the game. Yeah. They asked us and we told you, and you still took him to the end. So it's like, wow.
I want to say that, like, when I was, like, negotiating, like, the risks involved with if we would have blindsided Mark during that vote, I knew that if something went awry, which every other tribal council previous up until, like, starting at the merge, basically, had gone awry in some way, that if Mark knew that we were initiating a blindside and he was going to be out of here, genuinely, he would have sided against us girls, and I wouldn't be here right now. And my whole goal was to be here right now. And so the thing is, I knew that, like, if he got immunity in that challenge, like, all bets are off. Like, there was no way I could get him out. But if he, like, my goal was at that moment, like, when he became that solid of a risk, to just get him out as soon as I could. And when he got immunity, like, that was the only thing that prevented me from doing that.
It's just hard for me to understand, because I'm hearing a whole lot of, I just want to be in the final 3. I'm just happy to be here. And I think a lot of us were out here to really win. And I felt like some of the jury agree that you could have taken more opportunities to get Mark out when you could. And your answer to that is basically, I was too afraid of Mark to get Mark out. And that means to me that Mark was so, like, intimidating that you were afraid to move against him, and therefore he should win because he's sitting right there.
I mean, honestly, like, the thought, if Mark would have turned against me or Lindsay, just because we're sitting here right now, like, if he would have turned against one of us, he could have gone to literally any other guy that was still left in the entire game and picked us off one by one. And I knew that my only way, because, like, if there was any sort of burn bridge right here, I wouldn't be here. And so genuinely, like, I mean, if it's saying what it needs to say, then yeah, but, like, I knew. I mean,
it is funny because, like, I wasn't bitter about you guys not talking to me. I was very aware of my situation. I was playing hard. You guys were playing hard. I wasn't angry that you were, like, faking the whole thing. I was aware of it. Yeah. I was a little annoyed that no one else was playing the game. Yeah. Everyone just went lockstep like a cult and marched me to my death, basically. And that's kind of on you guys to not, like, want to make a move against Mark, who was obviously, he did have immunity. But that could have been earlier.
I didn't have immunity at 6.
You didn't have immunity when I was voted out?
Nope.
Well,
that's why I did what I did and let Quinn do the buddy system, because that was the most nervous I ever was. I thought I was already in a win-out position, and I was completely vulnerable.
And you were on top.
So as soon as they told me your name, and Quinn said he wanted to buddy up, I froze, and made sure nothing else could change.
I don't know how you weren't nervous this whole game after people put you to win, and you stayed in that position till the end of the game. So props to that for keeping your composure. I just wish you guys would have tried to stir something up a little bit more, since we're all trying to win here. But I still think you guys got here, which you should be proud of. So good job. But that's it for me.
Thanks, Sean.
Yep.
All right, Nikki, close it out for us.
Actually, Jeff, I'm playing this for you.
Oh.
Okay.
Nikki is safe tonight.
I just found that in my bag. I was like, I gotta do it. Okay, hi guys. We're the final 4. Okay, so you guys voted me out, and I understand you felt that was the best decision for you. But Mark, I have some concerns about that, because at some point you had promised me final 2, me and you. And then I'm also hearing you promised Jacob, final 2, Sean. So who was the final 2? Actually, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
That was more of a question, a statement.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just when I look at your game, I see a lot of burned bridges, and not a lot of broken promises.
Yeah.
Hi. Congrats, Anna.
Yeah.
So no matter what I ask, I want to say that I'm really impressed with your game, and I have a lot of respect for you. But I want to ask you, why pick Lindsay to go to the end over me?
I'm gonna be honest. I see you as a bigger threat as a jury vote than Lindsay. And honestly, Lindsay and I did have a stronger connection, and we did have more of like a me and you, like to the end thing that me and you just didn't have like in the game. And I honestly blame the tribe swap for that, because you were kind of taken away from us and we had that bonding. But I think that you also played a very respectable game, and like you nailed it. And so that's a threat to me that obviously I'm owning up to. So
no,
it was smarter for me to have you go out.
Thank you for being honest.
Yeah.
Lindsay, I hope amongst all of this madness that you've had some fun. And so tell me, what was your favorite part about playing this game?
I really liked I can tell you my favorite part was definitely puking so many times.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun. I definitely won't feel sick for the rest of the week. I'm really glad I recovered so well. No, but it actually was just like trying to navigate. I guess like I like this is like fierce competition. It's fierce competition, and I had fun. I did. I had a good time, and I don't think I mean, there's some things I would change, but not much, you know. Yeah.
Okay, I have one more question for you, Anna. Because I've been very surprised to hear you say that you were super close with Mark. Several times this tribal council, because I've remembered many times you saying, Mark is the threat, we need to get Mark out. I don't know if you remember that one time we were in the woods, you pulled me aside and wanted to throw our vote for, I think it was Caleb, you wanted to get Mark out, which to your credit was a good idea.
Yeah.
I just want to get a gauge. I just want to get a gauge on what your relationship with Mark really is. Were you piggybacking off of his success? Did you want to get him out? Is he really an ally? Is he an enemy? What is this?
Yeah, basically my thought going into like my whole relationship with Mark right now, it was like I saw him as someone who was a fierce competition, as someone who could be my downfall. And so I knew that, and I had that in my head this whole game. And so basically I was thinking to myself, how long can we ride this ride together where we're benefiting equally off of being in alliance with one another, and then when do I cut ties? And my plan was, I had some moments there that they didn't ever come into fruition because other things came into play. We were worried about different alliances that he was making the whole time. And so because of that, it literally fell on today to get Mark out, and we would have if he hadn't gotten immunity. And so basically it was like we were allies when we could benefit each other, and we could become enemies in a second that, again, it would benefit one another. So, yeah. In the game.
Well, good luck to all three of you. It was wonderful getting to play with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And
we love you.
Love you lots.
All right, Lindsay, Mark, and Anna, you have answered all of the jury's questions. You'll now have one more chance to plead your case right before they vote. Lindsay, you're up.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. I don't know if it was clear before or not, but Mark and Anna were definitely, they saw the threat in each other and they played it up. They used it. And I saw that, and I saw, I saw it. And so if I'm thinking for myself, thinking final three, I either use that to my advantage or get enough leverage to get everyone to switch on them and split them up, and I just couldn't do that. They were playing a lot faster than me, I think, maybe than
harder. Yeah, I guess I just had to navigate that. I did try to split it up a couple times, but they really were. They were in it together, and so I just, again, not to say I was a follower, but I definitely used that to my advantage at multiple points during this. I think voting with like the majority on most of these, like I saw where the cards were gonna lie a lot of the times, and so I think that kept me pretty safe. I had a great time getting to know you all and meet you, and it was a lot of fun, and that's it. That's all I got.
All right, Mark, your closing speech?
So I think I'll start my closing speech with asking us all to kind of take a step back, look at where we are right now, and realize that we just spent an entire weekend indulging ourselves in a game that we all love. Nobody would be here right now holding a camera or sitting somewhere if you weren't an absolute passionate fan of this game. And I think the game that I played is the one that most represents the game that we do love, and therefore I should be the winner of our second NC State season. You make a great comment, Nikki, about broken promises, and I've said many times that I want to look you guys all right in the eye and own that type of game that I played, because I think that it helped me build all those social relationships to be able to maneuver the way that I needed to. To my knowledge, and I may even have had more, I had spoken or unspoken final twos with Nikki, Jacob, Sean, Caleb, and Anna, and I might have even made comments to other people along the way. That led me to a point where I was able to play a social game so strong that I never received a single vote against me the entire time. To cap that all off, I won 3 immunities, nobody else won multiple, and I was on the right side of every single vote, often being the center swing vote. If that doesn't earn the respect of a Survivor fan, I will still be happy for the rest of my life that when I did this with you guys, this is how I played. And I think you should vote for me, and I think that I'd be the great winner for Survivor NC State Season 2.
All right, Anna, your final speech.
I guess I'd like to say that pre-merge, I was 100% a team player with Original Danimals. I have been loyal, unless it has been costly, as much as I possibly could be. I never lost a challenge before the merge. I'm able to leave here winning individual immunity. I think that I held my own in challenges. I think that I, in a way, was a ringleader to kind of like having a group harmony, some sort of like, I think that in a way I was able to kind of keep the glue that was the Original Danimals as strong as it could be and take as many OG Danimals as I possibly could down to the end, because we kept like that morale together and we kept like that mantra together that I think I honestly was the one that pushed that. I also want to say that like I was behind all the strategic girl alliances, and I was really like ready to work with Aziza on that. And I did actually fight my hardest to have as many girls go as far in the game as possible, because we had like that connection, we had that bond from the beginning. And I guess the recurring theme with me is that I'm loyal, and those bonds that I made with people in the beginning, like that, those are hard to break for me. I think that I also was putting myself out there and being advantageous within partnering with people who could potentially get me out in one swipe, get me out, like people who had a lot of social influence. I wanted to kind of partner up with and see like what kind of angles could I play. There was a moment, well actually basically at least over half of the game, that I was playing hard 2 different sides over here. I was playing hard trying to be on the majority with Mark and whoever we could wrap up in that. And I was also playing another game a little bit under the water of trying to see, can the girls come up, can the girls have a majority? And that would have been successful if Mark hadn't gotten individual immunity. That would have been something that I basically led, that would have been 100% successful and have all 3 of us girls sitting right here if Mark hadn't had one individual immunity, which was something that was basically out of our control at that point. And so I just want to say that I thought that I put myself out there. I thought that I played a hard game, and I thought that at some points I was kind of an unsuspected little weasel into some bigger moves. And I think that the game that I played was pretty strong, especially from having no prior experience. So
All right, jury. Jury, you have heard everything that you need to know to make your decision. It is now your time to vote. You are voting for a winner. The person you write on the parchment will get your vote for winning this season of Survivor. All right, for the last time, it is time to vote. Jacob, you're up.
Let me tell y'all how this game ended up. Man.
Because I kind of knew and now.
Fine now.
I don't know who I'm gonna vote for.
Welcome everyone to the Survivor NCSU Season 2 reunion. How's everyone feeling? Good. Are you all ready to find out the big question of the season? Which of these final three will win the entire game? We shall reveal that right now. Are we ready? Let's do this. Let's do this. Alrighty. First vote. Mark.
Do we clap?
Oh, there's no audience, so yeah. Anna. We have one vote, Mark. One vote, Anna. Next up, Mark. That's 2 votes, Mark. 1 vote, Anna. Mark. That's 3 votes, Mark. 1 vote, Anna. Anna. That's 3 votes, Mark. 2 votes, Anna. The winner of Survivor NCSU Season 2, Mark. And as the winner, we now have your prize.
Oh, it's cash?
$100 in $20 bills. There you go, Mark. You earned it. Great job, Mark.
Thank you.
So, Mark, what are you going to do with the money?
Well, I've definitely already spent the money. I had a fun March Madness and gambled more than I probably should have, so this was able to line my pockets back up.
You're replenishing what you've already spent.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys let me enjoy my March a lot more, hoping that I was going to come get this at
So,
the end of the
if
month.
you hadn't won, you would have been screwed.
I'd be really.
You would have had some people trying to punch you out.
knocking down my door. Exactly.
Oh my God. Well, it's great. You are the second winner of Survivor NCSU. How does that feel?
It's fun. I mean, obviously, we all came out here hoping to get to win. This is something that we're all so passionate about, to spend a weekend indulging and getting to play a game that we all really like. So it was obviously really fun to get to win it, and it makes me proud of myself and of everybody involved that we were able to put something really fun together. And I like the story even more now that I'm the top of it. So.
Yes. So what do you think? What do you think were the key moves that got you to this position, that won you at the end?
Really, I think most of the key moves I made were the early ones. The way the season kind of broke down, it was very relationship centered and sort of based off of early strategic lining. So I think I did a really good job of setting up good relationships in the early part of the game, and those carried me to a point where it was win or go home, and I was able to luckily do the former instead of the latter.
Do you think it was easier for you to form the relationships at the beginning when you kept winning challenge after challenge?
Definitely being on a pre-merge tribe where you don't have to, by that first tribal, you can kind of kumbaya and paint flags together and name pets in the swamp and whatever else you may have. It does help build an easier foundation of, this is someone I can get along with, this is someone I can build a rapport with, whereas, the other tribe, within an hour of being out there, they were at each other's throats. So it just definitely played a role for sure.
Mm-hmm. They were put in a position where they had to be at each other's throats, which really started things off really strong for the Vega tribe. Lindsay and Anna, you were in the same position. You were in the Humanities tribe at the very beginning, and you got to have those first few challenges where you just got to,
you don't have to worry about voting anyone out. You just get to bond and talk to each other. Anna, do you think there was anything at Final Tribal Council that you regret or maybe you would have done to maybe sway some more of the jury votes?
Honestly, like, for me, I think that I would have maybe hounded more on, like, how it was, like, the girls' majority who was literally running all of the votes, and kind of, like, put aside that, like, Mark just kind of played along with, like, what the three of us were doing basically the whole time. And I think that, like, I would have maybe talked about, like, the risk that was involved with Mark joining an all-girls alliance, and also maybe even talk about how, like, he won, but it was because he won immunity, which was a strength competition between girls, like, with girls. So it's just kind of, like, I maybe would have, like, played along more of that, and honestly, like, shown more of, like, how good this actually was, and, like, how much, like, thought and, like, strategy actually went into keeping the three of us together, which we were a minority up until the very end, and we were a target for a lot of people, and yet we were Final Four.
So, how would you have distinguished yourself, if you were to make that argument at Final Tribal, how would you have distinguished yourself from Lindsay, who was also in that girls' alliance?
I probably would have said that Lindsay kind of just played along with whatever votes I was saying I was going for. Like, whoa, Anna, you just went, the votes are read first? What do you mean? For someone who had only seen 0 episodes of Survivor and had only seen 2, and so she was constantly asking me, what's next? Wait, what's happening? I had no idea, like, what was happening. And I don't know why she was asking me, because I barely knew I at least knew more than Anna. I think this whole girls' alliance, I will agree, like, we definitely all, like, collaborated together on who to vote. And I would say, like, the strongest, and no one gave Anna enough credit for her game. Like, the jury did not give Anna enough credit for her game. Round of applause for Anna. Like, Anna and I did play a very similar game, but, like, Mark and I also played a similar game, aligning ourselves with Anna, and the girls' alliance, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm just gonna say. But, I really think Anna did not get enough credit, and even though she did not know what was happening a lot, like, I cannot believe that you guys, who are huge fans of Survivor, got beat up by 2 people who barely watched, if at all. I'm so sorry.
Do you think that worked in your favor, that people knew that you didn't know anything?
Everyone was underestimating me. I think it was pretty obvious. I did kind of play into it a little bit, and they even had me doubting myself. Like, I was telling the cameras, I don't know what's happening. But I actually did. I definitely underestimated myself, and I definitely had to, because I had to tell Anna what was going on. But yeah, I think there was a lot of behind the scenes of the Girls Alliance that wasn't really seen by everyone outside of the Girls Alliance, because obviously. And also, like, it just kind of got to the point where, like, we didn't want to be, like, that obvious about, like, a Girls Alliance, and so, like, some of y'all went home because, like, I gave, like, Nikki a side eye. Like, let's just talk about that. Like, which, like, you didn't see that. That wasn't in anything, but, like, that was, like, running the game was just, like, little, like, body cues and just kind of, like, the trust that, like, we had together. That, like, I was, like, hoping that you weren't going to break, that you weren't going to break. I knew I wasn't going to break. So it was just kind of, like, that was kind of running the game for a little bit. And there's been talk about, like, if it would have been us 3 at the end of this, that it would have been a boring game. Which I don't really see how a minority making their way all the way through, beating the odds, being 3 girls in a majority boy game. Like, I don't see how that's boring at all.
I think being underrated played to our advantage, because that's why we're here. That's why we made it so far, and so we capitalized after being underrated, and it played to our advantage.
So Lindsay, when you got the comments that you got at Final Tribal Council, what was your reaction to them? Did you think that you played differently from how people perceived you in the jury?
I knew that the jury was perceiving me that way, and I knew there was a very strong voice leading that opinion. I don't think he was really being that secretive about it either. I knew that there was, like, almost no way I was going to be able to convince that jury of the game I played, especially because, again, like, everyone kind of said it, I wasn't really playing a game with them. Anna and I would consult, and then Anna would be, like, the face of the Girls Alliance and make those moves and everything. And I kind of sat back, and I really didn't need to do much. Besides
besides like consult with the Girls Alliance and work that angle. I did try to work a few angles just like ensure like a backup plan, but I really wasn't gonna give up on like the Girls Alliance, and I think everyone knew that, and I think honestly that's kind of the reason I got to where I was, because everyone in my alliance knew that they could trust me, and no one was able to form like a stronger trust with anybody else and able to flip on the Girls Alliance. I think a lot of the reasons like the people who got out before us got out was because like we didn't trust them, and they like kind of showed that, and we wanted them out. So
I do want to say that I was really disappointed with how like Lindsay was portrayed in Final Tribal Council by a lot of people here. I'm sorry, one of the core pillars of Survivor is Outlast, who was a finalist. Like, let's just straight up like talk about that. She was sitting there, and you guys weren't. Like, I'm sorry. That's just that's how it was. And so it's like she played a whole different strategy, but why is it that like the sole survivor has to be someone who was just like making a lot of the big plays? Like, she was in the same boat as all of us. She made amazing alliances right from the beginning that no one else did. That is why she was such like a big finalist. And so I just think that it was just kind of disrespectful that she was just kind of given so much like hate, like to the point where some of you guys went up and said, Lindsay, this isn't about you, this is an Anna and Mark thing. I'm sorry, like that's just that made me yeah.
Nikki, same kind of question that I asked Lindsay and Anna. So you were also part of the Girls Alliance. What made you stand out? And if you were in the final three with Lindsay and Anna, what would you have pitched to the jury to make sure that you ended up on top of the Girls Alliance?
So I think that a lot of times Anna was pinned as like the leader of the group, and I was perfectly fine with that because I viewed that as like a meat shield. No offense, Anna.
Sorry, Anna. No, it's okay.
You are a very powerful player, and I think it would have been really hard to compete against both of you. But I think that like I might have been viewed as a coattail rider, but I think I did make a lot of big plays. I actually did start the Girls Alliance. Day one, we were like given no opportunity to strategize amongst all of the kumbaya. It was lovely but annoying. And I had one opportunity when we were in a single file line, and I turned around to them and I asked them if they knew who Parvati was.
And both of us got no. Oh my God, actually.
And they didn't because they've never watched Survivor. But I explained to them, and ever since then, like, I think that proved that the most valuable part in Survivor is not, can you make the biggest play? Do you have the advantages? Do you have the idols? It's what kind of relationship do you have with the people around you? And I think I was able to bring those girls together. I saw that vision, and I dictated a lot of the votes along with the other girls. But I think I was a really strong competitor, and I definitely could have said that at the final tribal.
So having heard Anna speak, Lindsay speak, and Nikki speak, I want to play a little game. So let's say Mark is not in the final three.
No!
And he is now on the jury. So we have Mark, Quinn, Sean, Caleb, Jacob, Aziza, and Jake on the jury. Okay, so let's see who would have voted. Okay, who would have voted Anna?
What?
If you had to pick one of the three from the Girls Alliance, Quinn, Sean, and Mark, who would have voted Lindsay? And so, Nikki?
It depends on final tribal for me.
Well, like, they had their final tribal here. They made their speeches. Who would you choose, Caleb? You are the swing vote in this. It's 3-3.
I personally was a fan. I think Nikki.
Thank you.
So y'all made a very good decision getting Nikki out right before the end.
I'm gonna be honest, like I didn't want to go to final tribal.
Mm-hmm.
I take that as a compliment.
Mark, why didn't you want to go to final three with Nikki?
I said as much to Nikki in our last conversation of the game. I mean, all three of these girls impressed me so much throughout the whole game. It's why I wanted to be working with them for as long as I did. And as we kind of got down to it and got to have the privilege to be the last four in the game, nobody speaks better than Nikki. Nikki would have talked circles around all of us, that final tribal council. I think she would have shut me out in a sweep. And I kind of genuinely mean that. And so for me, it was kind of a no-brainer. And it's not to discredit their ability to articulate themselves. It's just, Nikki's a force, and I did not want to go up against that.
That makes me really
Yes.
I have a question for the jury. While we're on the topic of Final Tribal, because I was an outsider, I've heard a lot of stuff post-game, and I'm going to preface this by saying I think everyone deserves their win in Survivor. Like, I think you deserve the win because you won. Everyone voted for you. What was the difference between Mark and Lindsay's game? Other than, I think Mark's best move was convincing Anna that she couldn't win, and so she didn't go into Final Tribal with, like, a fire. But I genuinely do not see the difference between Mark and Lindsay's game, and it's kind of frustrating, like, as a viewer and a fan of Survivor, especially given that they started this Parvati Alliance, because for people who are fans of the show, no, Parvati started an all-girls alliance because statistically, in a final 3 of 1 guy and 2 girls, it's over 60% chance that the guy wins. Survivor is very inclined for guys to win. And so I don't know if that played an aspect into the jury just favoring Mark going into it, but I genuinely don't understand how Lindsay gets ripped into for following Anna and Nikki when Mark literally followed Anna and Nikki even when he could have flipped at Final 7, went with guys instead of putting himself in his position where he has to win Final 5 and Final 4 immunity, which is on paper the wrong decision. I don't get it.
So it was to the jury, but Jacob, do you want to answer that question?
So just because I was on the jury, and I would say I was Mark's most outspoken supporter on the jury.
And Lindsay's most outspoken hater.
Yeah, I'll get to that. But frankly, it was simply because of the way that Mark articulated his game. Because from an outside perspective, especially for me, I was told about the Girls Alliance. Nikki tried to get me in early with them, but whenever we got split up, I was really close with Nikki. I was really close with Mark. Anna and Lindsay were really playing into that Girls Alliance. I didn't see that happening. I knew that there was probably a Girls Alliance, but that wasn't being articulated to me. Whenever Mark came out and they were talking about, yeah, there was a Girls Alliance, but it wasn't said like it was here. If Anna and Lindsay had said the game that they had here at Final Tribal, it would have been a lot closer of a vote than it would have been for Mark. So simply it was the Final Tribal speeches that really, I think, sealed Mark's deal in winning over Anna and Lindsay, because Anna played a great game. She said why she deserves to be here, and Lindsay said why she deserves to be here and why I'm sitting here. You know, they had a great target, and you know, I was Lindsay's most outspoken hater. I wasn't. I thought it was funny for the camera to be that person, and she also voted me out, so I had to be mean at someone. I know it didn't matter. But to answer your question, that was my personal rationale, and that's why I feel like and that's why I voted for Mark, and I really feel like it would have swung more of these swing votes on the jury for Anna if she would have articulated her game the way that she has tonight.
That's fair, and I definitely see where, like, Anna, I think you could have articulated your game better. That's why I think Mark's legitimate best move was making you feel like you couldn't win.
I agree.
But that still doesn't account for the fact that given their similar games, going into Tribal before a single word is spoken, the way you guys talked to Lindsay was not the way you guys talked to Mark.
Yeah.
And so there is not a chance for her when she's already on the defense to start explaining her game, because she's explaining why certain things upset her, explaining those things, instead of being able to actually pitch her case. Right. Whereas Mark was basically like, tell us your best move, Mark. You know.
Agreed.
I don't know. Yeah.
So Caleb, would you like to answer the jury question as well?
I guess. For me, with Lindsay, the moment I knew I wouldn't vote Lindsay probably is when I was idol hunting in the woods, and they sent Jacob and Lindsay out as dogs just to watch me. Didn't talk to me, just stood there and watched me dig through the dirt. And I thought, well, we know who the lapdogs are, and then we know who the shepherds are, and that's why I figured. I thought no one with respect would just not even talk and just watch me do my little leaf dance.
I think, to be fair, we were all willing to do it. I think they just agreed.
The fact that someone would walk up and just watch me, well, from my perspective, that means, like, you know, well.
It's strategic. We want to know if you have an idol, because we were scared of you, you know?
But,
He's saying that I literally went there and I just stood beside him. I wasn't like, so how's it going?
Yeah.
Caleb? I wasn't like, so who do you want to vote
really
today? And I think I tried to say that, but in reality,
I just want to say that I had already counted you out. I'm so sorry. Like, you were so wishy-washy that you had to go. And I just knew it was a matter of time. I'm so sorry. And also, I didn't need to be in all the conversations. Like, he said this to me. He was like, I don't understand why you're out here watching me instead of in there with all the conversation. Anna and I had already had our conversation, and I knew that, like, Anna and I, the vote was going to go our way. Like, we had the conversation. Anna and I were like, this is gonna happen, and if something had changed, Anna would have told me. So, like,
I didn't need to be in all the conversations. Like, I had such a strong alliance with Anna that I could be sent out there and watch you.
You volunteered to go out there.
I actually did, and also I also want to say that Jacob also sent me out there once, so maybe he was preying on my downfall. But I'm sorry, like it was just the way. Like the Girls Alliance had already decided you were too wishy-washy, and you couldn't really be trusted, and we were very heavily reliant on trust. So it's just the way it went.
All right, Aziza. So there's been a lot of talk of the Girls Alliance, and I'm actually noticing right here we have from Jake on is the merge and the jury. You were the only other female in this group. So were you ever considering voting with the Girls Alliance, joining them, or were you clued in by them? Like, what was your relationship with the Girls Alliance?
I think I talked to Nikki first about a Girls Alliance before they came to me. I think the thing that sealed the deal that this was not going to be was Anna coming to me and saying, hey, it's between you and Quinn. And Quinn is my strongest ally, so I was like, nope. And also, I was kind of looking at it, and there's 3 of them in 3 spots. I wonder who's going to be 4th or 5th. So I was thinking in the long game.
Fair enough. Aziza, how did your time on Exile influence your game? Did you feel like it helped you? Didn't help you?
I was just chilling. I think it helped me, honestly. Yeah.
Did you need like the time away from everyone to kind of like collect?
Decompress.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think actually waking up at 8 a.m. as a grad student is kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie. So like my whole routine was messed up. So I think that also played a factor in like the whole game.
Is there any move that you would have done differently to get yourself further in the game?
Oh, I would have used that idol.
Use idol for yourself.
That was just the worst.
Don't we wish?
Don't we wish?
Wish I would have flipped.
Yeah, R.I.P. I think I was thinking too far ahead, to be honest. I should have been thinking each round. Like, I think I broke up it into segments, like, don't be the first vote, get to merge, and then get to the end. And I think I should have thought of every vote instead of that game.
When you were put on the spot at the end of the 4th challenge, when we did double tribal council.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Oh, man.
From an outside perspective, it seems like you kind of put the STEM tribe in a bad position.
From an inside perspective, too.
Inside perspective.
Yeah.
I thought one of us was going.
I was pointing at you, Anna. I
literally was like, it's gonna be.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
You should have been like this. I was so stupid. It was like a spot, like a decision.
To be fair, there's the short-sighted point of view.
Yeah.
You are allied with Quinn, and you basically get to decide who guarantees into the merge and gets past 2 tribal councils.
Yeah.
So, at a short-sighted decision, it makes sense to bring
And
Quinn.
also, I think the
with
time
good
outside
players.
of Exile, I was not in the 2 tribes, I think, ever really. So I wasn't even thinking in that frame of mind. I was there for maybe a challenge, maybe 2 challenges. So that was my bad. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Aziza, there was also we're talking about your alliance with Quinn. Has there been a friendship from that, or was it just purely game?
I have kind feelings towards Quinn. Sometimes I see him around, I'm like, hey, Quinn.
Well, and neither of you can answer this. How was it having such a strong ally? Did y'all ever have doubts that the other would vote you out or turn on you?
Not for me, although I almost said Quinn's name the first vote. To me,
No fucking way.
You
should
Because that's so funny, because that's what we said!
Sorry, but you were supposed to be first boot. The moment I saw you, I said that's first boot.
And yet here he is.
And yet, how big of a difference that makes?
That was a true backstory.
Quinn got 3 votes against Maggie's 4 at the very first vote, and he was able to make it to top 5. Which just shows anything can happen in this game. It goes vote by vote. Like you said, it's like everything's different, each vote. It's always a new game.
I'd also like to say that the reason I voted for Mark was because I couldn't believe that man made it that far. What? I was like, how is Mark still here? Even when I was still in the game, I was like, we gotta get Mark out. We literally have to get Mark out. And so mine was just shock, pure shock that he just made it I'm sorry, man. But
No, and again, and maybe for me to chime in and speak a little bit more towards, again, another just congratulations to Lindsay, to Jameson's comment of how genuinely similar I felt our games were. Like, that was sort of one of the things from the very beginning. I saw a connection with you in our ability to connect with people, and I knew that was going to be my whole play. And I knew that I was going to be seen very early on as a big personality. And so I think that you definitely did deserve a lot more love. And to Jameson, like, you've made me start to sort of think about it introspectively.
Sorry.
No, and not in a positive way.
Yeah.
And sort of just understanding what maybe even differentiated us at all. And I think that it's elements of, like, Aziz's comment, like, whereas I think the way we connect with people is completely similar. I'm so freaking loud. I'm like, I'm annoying. Like, I get in people's way, I get in people's faces. It's just a lot harder to hide. And what I think worked out well for me was it put me in situations to sort of be the decider at a couple different votes. It was the case when you left me. You literally tried to hand me an idol to switch sides. That wasn't handed to Lindsay. When it was the Caleb vote, like, it was split 3-3, and I knew walking up to vote out Caleb that my decision would have completely impacted and differed the course of the game. And so that's sort of whereas I absolutely think that Lindsay deserves way more praise and needs a lot more respect. I do still feel strongly that that was a differentiation in our games, in my ability to sit in a position where if the tides were ever to move, it would have probably come through me.
All right, I'll ask Quinn a question. So Quinn, I just wanted to mention again, because this is a pretty big thing for both seasons, you were the only successful idol play of both seasons. You and Caleb were put in a very bad position as the only two STEM people left in the final, 8, right? When Jacob went home. So Quinn, did you feel like being the last STEM member of the game, do you feel like you could have, if you squeezed your way through the finals, gotten the win at the end in the final 3?
Yeah, I think my game would have spoke for itself. I think my downfall was I kind of like went under the radar, or at least tried to, and let people come to me. But I shouldn't have stopped on my vote out. I should have argued more. I should have made my case more. And like half an hour after I vote out, I had written like the speech to give to each of you what I would have said. So I think that was my downfall.
Right now.
No, I've tried to move on. I tried to let it go. Yeah, I think we should have voted out Mark, but yeah.
So if immunity challenges weren't a thing, do you think you could have squeezed into the final 3?
Yeah.
That's terrifying. Because I genuinely, like, I had conversations with, like all of you guys. We did not want to go to the end with you at all because I knew for a fact, like, I would have voted for you against me. Like, I know all, like, I was like, no.
Anna, one time I asked you, you know I trust you, right? And you're like, no. Out of blink. Yeah.
But the consensus, Anna, was that you would have kept Quinn over Mark if you had the choice? If you had to bring one of them to the finals.
You would have brought Mark.
I think I would have brought
You would have brought Mark. You would have brought
Because
Mark.
I genuinely, I feel like you could have literally had, like, all of them. It was just, like, because you were the last Vega.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, like, the hurrah, like, the underdogs making their way on up. Like, it's such, like, a Survivor story that, yeah, like, in the end, I would have taken Mark.
Lindsay and Nikki, do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay, well, let's transition a little bit. I want to talk about one of the big parts of this season, which was our returning players. We had 4 people come back. I wanted to ask any of the returning players, Jacob, Jake, Lee, or Jameson can answer this, or all of you can answer it. Do you feel like being a returning player was more of an advantage
Oh
or
my
a
God.
disadvantage?
Hell no. I was on my tribe. They had never talked to me, and they were all throwing my name out. I had never talked to a single one of them. And they're like,
that's so rough
Jameson's
for
a
you,
snake.
You are a snake!
But did you have anyone talk to you and say, like, okay, well, I saw your game and I think we could work together?
Honestly, people were more receptive on Vega. You wanted to work with me. That's the first you were like kind of down.
What about
You tried to vote out my ally. I don't know. That's why you're first out.
which ally? Which one?
Aziza, but
We had decided on.
And then, okay, actually, do we want to run through this? So,
No, actually,
we have decided on
let's go. No, because here's what happened, actually, is right before, when your pants were still wet, you talked to Jameson about, oh, I'm scared of Aziza, and then you changed your pants, and then we were like, I was like, we need to vote out Quinn,
And then everybody was there. Literally everybody but Quinn, because Quinn was in confessionals. I went, we're voting Quinn, right? And we all said yes.
Yeah, because
Okay,
I
you want
looked
the?
at,
Can I give
no,
the play-by-play?
No,
I
because
can tell you
I
that's
looked
not
at
what
Quinn and I said, "Hey Quinn, did you throw my name out?" And he was like, "I can't lie. Yeah, I did." And I was like, "Wow, that's funny."
Yeah. Okay. So what happened from my perspective? Obviously, my perspective.
Your perspective.
So, I'm playing the game. I'm already a little sussed out of Maggie, not gonna lie.
No.
Because
You were sussed
we're
out.
like,
I was playing
yeah.
aggressively. I get
So
it.
you're playing aggressively. It's Quinn. Everyone's told Quinn. We are fine with Quinn. I go up to you. Who else was there? You, Ryder, me, Sheets was there, I think.
Yeah.
It's us.
It was at the water well.
And we're at the well, and you're like, I'm like, so who are we voting out? Just to confirm, because I hadn't talked to you about it. And you bring up Aziza's name, and I go, I've heard Quinn from everyone. Why did you just say Aziza? And you went, well, you're friends, right? And I go, she was my TA. And you go, oh, never mind, we're good for Quinn. So I walk away, and I'm like, what?
Well,
Did you just want to vote out Aziza because you thought we were friends? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, it was like if she was your ally. It was
don't tell him that.
Yeah,
it's already out. It didn't happen. It was like.
I just think that telling someone you
Yeah,
want
it
to
was
vote
a
out
dumb-
their ally
it
is a
was a dumb
misplay.
decision.
So
No,
I
I
walk up
completely
to you and I'm like, Maggie told me this, and he's like, Maggie's friends with people on the other tribe, and I'm like, we're switching it.
You like freaking
That's what happened.
openly knew people.
Yeah.
So on the other tribe, so I was like, if there's a swap, you're swapping to them. And also you said you'd die if Ryder got voted out, and I knew you were close with Lee. So I was like, I'm already like fourth, probably fifth, because like I know Jameson and Lee were friends. So I was like, I'm already at the bottom of that. So I kind of like linked with Jameson, pulled him in for like a 2-duo thing, like me, Jameson, and Aziza and Quinn.
Yeah.
So like,
To answer your question, he was the only one that I don't think was going to target me long term because of my season 1 game. I think every single other person in the game, at one point or another, could have literally been like, so y'all saw season 1, right? And I would have been out. Like,
well, but
there's
you
no
were
way.
never voting out Will, and I was going to be like, the Will.
Yeah.
I was like, you're loyal to at least one person. Let
Did
me be that
anything
one.
blossom?
Shut up. Not that question. Yeah.
Do you think, what was different about your game this time, and what did you change about it?
I think I just like cared less. Like I was giggling. I was talking to production more than I was talking to my tribe. So I was just like messing around, trying to like do fun big moves with love. That was fun.
No, it's like I didn't like you for it, but I respect you for it.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, that was such a fucking good play.
Yeah.
Like I can't be like, oh my god, I like hate Jameson. It's like, oh, he played that game.
Yeah.
He really went up and he was like.
I played harder faster because I knew I had like 2 or 3 tribals max. I was like, I'm just gonna have fun.
We all played really hard, really fast.
Yeah, this was exhausting. I feel aged from this season.
I
and
feel
was
like
there for, like,
we
a day.
all were really aggressive, but I also feel like part of it was my fault that I started out so aggressive.
Yeah.
And I feel like I set the tone, and that made us have to play really aggressively, really quickly, and that like divided people really quickly, and it just like I hate to say it, I feel like I'm the reason that a lot of Vega got out first is because we didn't really have that bonding. Like we didn't have that bonding time. Like we split in the middle right after that first tribal, and it was like we couldn't, like you guys couldn't repair that relationship. Once that happened, and I feel like that gave the other tribe a huge lead.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the bottom 4.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Quinn made it that far is
crazy.
just absolutely insane. And honestly, no, literally, for the guy that I was like, oh wow, I want you to get voted out first, you fucking slayed. Like, goddamn, like you went hard, and I was like, I just like I remember feeling bad and like feeling like regret and being like, wow, I really hate that I like got out and I didn't get to play. But then I saw how far you and Aziza got, and like the 2 people that I underestimated the most, and I was like, you know what? I'm fine with getting out, cause they kicked ass, and that's on period. They did what I could not have done, and it's like, I can't not have respect for that.
So Lee, do you think you played a better game the second time around, and what did you change about your game?
Okay, so the first time I played, I was here to have fun, and I did, but everyone thought I was a dumbass, and I was just like some, goofy guy who didn't know what was going on, and I didn't. But I did for some of it,
you know, I had ideas, I had thoughts. They weren't the best, but I had them. And so for season 2, I came back and I was like, okay, it's time to redeem myself. It's time to make myself not look so stupid and be strategic and shit. Second.
So you think you played the worst game? Or were you better, you just had different circumstances?
No, you're right for that. No, but I think the first time I was actually myself. And then the second time I tried to be something that I can't do. And I wouldn't have been able to uphold it all weekend. Because after getting voted out, I was like, wow, my tummy hurts.
Yeah.
Like, I felt so stressed out, just like all these different stories I was telling. And I got caught in my story. And I was like, oh, that's crazy.
So Jake, do you think you played a better game, and what would you have done differently? Or what did you do different?
What I did different was not have to run within 10 minutes of getting the game. My experience as a returner was different from everyone else, because I went into this game hoping that everyone had seen season 1 and said, oh wow, this guy blows at Survivor. We don't have to worry about him at all. That was what I wanted. But then I turned out to be that I wanted to redeem myself so bad that I got in my own head about it. I got back after that challenge where Aziza and Quinn got sent to exile, and I quickly realized, like, oh, I might be the swing vote here, because you two and then you and Caleb, and I'd already talked to you guys, and I figured I was going to be a swing vote. And like in my head, I was already like set on Jameson, but then I was like, wait a minute, how cool would it be if I was the swing vote and like no one knew? That would be like from 0 to 100, like did terrible last time, swing vote now. And so I like tried to set it up more where like I had a wink system with Caleb for as to who we were gonna vote out, and made it way more complicated than it needed to be.
We had 1 wink for Lindsay, 2 winks for Jameson. But
Yeah.
I thought the double wink looked like a blink, so
I looked at you and I went. It was you and me in the back seats of Tribal, and I winked twice to you like 3 times, and then you asked me who we were voting for, like as we were walking back from the vote again.
I got confused again.
So in hindsight, after thinking about that decision some more, I mean, Lindsay made it to final 3 and Jameson's sitting behind you. Do you think like you made the right decision?
I think I made the right decision. I just didn't do it tactfully enough. I think I should have just committed, not had any wavering, not tried to pull Caleb in anything, because that was what got you like concerned that I was gonna waver at the merge on all of our tribe, and that led to my downfall.
So Jacob, I mean, you were in a very unique position because, as most or all of the returnees have said, it was a disadvantage going into the game as a returnee. People knowing you, you have an instant target on your back. What do you think? Like, you played a different game?
I feel like I felt like I played a different game. I don't actually think I did, because I was, loyalty based. I was going to have strong relationships with people. I was going to try to be funny and just ride the wave. Like Jameson said, I felt like arguably Jameson and I had the biggest targets coming in on our backs, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna have fun. And whenever the J vote happened and I wasn't voted out, I was like, these people are idiots. Why aren't they voting me out? And then the next vote came and I just got Ryder's vote, and then they didn't vote me out again. I was like, this is crazy. And then there was another vote with Jake and I wasn't voted out. I was like, what's going on? These people are idiots. Why am I still here? And then it came the vote where it was between Aziza and Anna, and I didn't have any votes. And I would like to personally apologize to Aziza, apologize to myself, to Caleb, to Sean, and Quinn, because all these people are sitting in this order because I didn't flip with them and vote for Anna. We were 1 vote away because Nikki got confused and voted for Quinn. And if I would have realized that she was voting for Quinn, I don't think I would have ever wrote Anna's name down, because I feel like she would have been mad at me. She already thought that I was going to flip. If I would have known that she was voting for Quinn, I could have voted for Quinn. Anna would have went out, and then who knows the dynamic that would have happened, because girls are out. I felt like Lindsay would be scrambling to whoever she could come to and see where she could fall, pull her into our ranks, and really get it up there. So I really feel like the dynamic right here happened because I didn't want to play a big game. It was just like, oh, it's okay, I'm going to trust Anna. And
were you just not aware of the Girls Alliance, or did you think that you were like part of them?
So, no, I did not think I was part of them. I felt like I knew that I was in the middle, and I was feeling like I know that some challenges about tribe dynamics are going to come up. I won touchy subjects last season. I'm like, I'm going to be able to do that. If there's jury questions, I know I'm going to be able to win that. And I was like, maybe I can get to some votes and win these immunity challenges and really slip to the end and have these people, because I was thinking they're going to drag me so far along that I'm just going to become a juggernaut and get to the end, or as far to the end as I can. And I felt like they would carry me a lot farther. And they did carry me farther because it wasn't them that ended up voting for me. So, I mean, maybe that was an improvement on my game, that besides Lindsay, they didn't vote for me. And I would like to apologize also to Lindsay that if it did come off that I was being rude or that I was writing you off from the very beginning, I was intending for it to be funny and endearing, and not that I actually thought that you were an idiot that rode people's coattails, because you were in the top 3 and I wasn't, and I was here. And you got to write my name down to tell me I was on my way out. And I would like to apologize for screaming in your face. That was not nice. Because I was mad at her because I thought she was an emotional player. So me being the rational person I am, I got up screamed in her face. And I went over to Caleb and was like, you can vote Lindsay because that's all I care about. And then he was like, Lindsay was my babysitter. And then I had to yell like, that's not what I said! And I just sat back down and was just seething. I'm like, okay, in the matter of like 3 seconds, the last little bit of like ability that I had to stay here, I just completely blew it. So I was just like, yeah, it's been fun while it lasted.
Jacob, your vote was the most scared I think I've ever been in this game. Like,
You were scared?
I was so convinced you were gonna flip on us, but
for my vote, whenever I was gonna go home.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't gonna flip then. I should have flipped with Aziza though and knocked all of you out. Because I felt like me and Sean and Aziza and Quinn and Caleb could have gotten a lot farther, and I should have aligned myself with those people more than I should have aligned myself with these people.
I have a question for both Jacob and Lee. So I gotta preface this a little bit. So we actually were only going to have Jameson and Jake join us for this season. They won the returning vote, that challenge that we had from the first season. But we unfortunately had 2 people that were not able to play the game. And so we had to pull Lee and Jacob from production. Some people use it to their advantage, and some people kept quiet about it.
I don't know what you're talking about, actually.
So Lee, how was it going into the game? Like everyone else was like, okay, there's a game coming up. Let me think about strategy and how I'm going to approach this game. You had no time to think.
Yes, actually I did, because me and Jacob manifested it. So I had a dream, and then I called Jameson and I told him about my dream, but he was already in the game and I didn't know, and he didn't tell me that he was in the game. And then Jake and I were texting the night before, and we were like, what if we just joined? Like, what's gonna stop them? We can't stop them from letting us join. And then we did.
So you made it happen.
I made it happen.
What did you do with the other 2 people? Where are their bodies? Jacob, do you feel like it helped you or hurt you to not have any time to prepare?
I do not know, honestly, because I am such a nervous wreck whenever I'm in this game constantly that I honestly don't know how it was. It might have been an asset that I kind of was thrown in at the last second.
You made it furthest.
I made it maybe that's what I needed, not time to like overthink things and just kind of be like, you know what, whatever, you're just going to get voted out the first time you get a chance. Once the people get a chance to just, have fun. So maybe, and I felt like playing that we didn't know anything that was going on was obviously the much better move, because I even forgot about challenges that were going to happen, because to the tribe, I didn't even say this, I hid where all the idols were at each tribe. So I knew where they were, but I was barred from telling anyone or actually going and finding them.
And they were rehidden.
And they were rehidden shortly after. So I honestly didn't know after the first day. And whenever we were in production, I was walking by all of you, whenever I was told, I actually had another idol in my hat that I was going to hide sometime whenever production was going on, so I had to give that up. So I don't know why, because I saw the idols that I thought that Aziza's idol was somehow real. I was like, well, maybe they made, one that they just didn't tell me about. But some of the challenges, greed, I think I was the person that suggested that on production. And I was like, yeah, I'll go get that. And then I saw it there and I was like, oh yeah, we're doing greed. And then I didn't go get it. So.
Yeah. One of the unique parts about playing this season as opposed to the last one, there is a bigger cast and more time to, well, not more time, it's the same amount of time, but more people to socialize with and make alliances with. I'm actually curious, show of hands, who actually watched the first season? Oh, okay. Everyone, at least some. Sean, do you feel like watching the first season helped you? Did you take any like strategy from the first game, and like just knowing how Survivor NCSU worked?
I mean, I definitely sped run it. Like I watched it a couple times to kind of get the feel of it, like what I could expect. I like Kyle's strategy. He was very under the radar and quiet, and I'm a more quiet person, so I kind of came in the game wanting to be more quiet, like sort of ease my way into things and not try to be loud and force everything. And I also thought Jacob was a cool guy, so I was like, I'm gonna work with Jacob, and I saw Jacob, so yeah, those two things.
What do you think about me?
You said shouted Kyle's name as
No, because you are literally Kyle in this season.
I just didn't like that as a strategy. I don't know.
It wasn't a strategy.
Purely personal notes.
So was it more of an advantage knowing about Survivor NCSU going into it? Anyone can answer it.
Yes.
You have a little different experience.
I'd say like for even like just like the little bit that I watched, like I knew like as soon as Jameson was on ours, I was like, yeah, and just like stuff like that, like just preemptive kind of like opinions and like I don't know, just also thinking like the reason why I was hesitant to get Sean out final 6 was because everyone was saying he's the Kyle of the season. If he would have slipped through the cracks, like I didn't want to be up against you. Like what if you got like the votes? Like who won last time? So I think for sure, like it did play a massive role in like our exact lineup right now. Like it would be so different. So
Anyone can audition. It is called Survivor NCSU, but we have had a few exceptions. One of those being Lee.
Wait, what?
Lee was Well, yeah, no, there's multiple people, but Lee was an NCSU student last time when we did a Survivor season 1, but left the school. I mean, you can
Don't
talk
say it
more
like
about
that. I transferred.
Transferred.
I go to got UC now. Calm down. Well.
And then one of the big things for the season was Caleb.
There's an imposter.
So Caleb, what?
Imposter.
You are an App State student. It's pretty obvious by the apparel as well.
I'm a mountaineer. I got that mountain spirit. That's why I was always in the woods.
What went into keeping that lie? Like, what did you have to do to make sure that everyone thought that you were an NCSU student?
I changed my Instagram bio. I left the App State story on Snapchat. I lied my audition and to you guys and my email.
he should have won because of this.
And that's what I was hoping for, but there you go. And then, yeah, I just lied to all of you, and then I told you on the way out, and I think Sam just turned around and started you were so shocked, and I was just like, yeah, I go to App. That's.
I want to add to this. I live in the building that Caleb told everybody he lived in. So
That's
we
my
had a
blue
whole
tie.
conversation about living in this building.
Oh, right,
And,
Sullivan, yeah, we talked about that too. No,
He
we all
named
heard
the
that.
RA that his friend lives in, and I know that they're a real RA. So I believed him. I don't know how I got tricked because I literally live in Sullivan Hall, and he told me he lived in Sullivan Hall. Yeah.
Was there any doubt from anyone that you weren't an NCSU
Oh,
student?
no, there's no doubt. I used Tyler Davis's identity. He's going to be on the next season.
Okay. See you soon, Tyler.
My boy.
Okay. Oh yeah. Also, another thing about you, Caleb. So we had our whole theme STEM versus humanities. We obviously had some things at the beginning, like I mentioned, the 2 people not joining. So Caleb, you're actually an undecided, and we also have Jay, who unfortunately couldn't be here with us at this reunion show. That were not STEM, but were on STEM. So did you feel like an outlier in the STEM tribe, or did you feel like that made no difference?
At first, I thought you guys were going to do puzzles since there's a STEM tribe. So I felt, what I was thinking is, I thought this is great because now I'm the strongest dude on the tribe. They need me for this part of the challenge, then they do the puzzle, we win the challenges. and then we get to Danimals, cruise our way to the end. Like, I didn't expect to lose and lose and lose again. It was heartbreaking. I wanted to win one individual challenge, and as soon as I get out, there was like the planks and the balancing. I was like, oh, that's what I wanted.
So you were expecting to go in with the numbers, but how does your game change when you go into the merge and you're down numbers and you have to work with the people that you were against?
Yeah. I mean, I was able to do that at first. I feel like I guess I made the Anna move. I tried to do that too soon because as soon as I talked with everyone, there was like 7 of us and just the 2 of them. I was like, this is boring. And we know who's at the bottom. So I literally pulled Sean aside, we went to the water well, and we just like talked. That was our first conversation. We instantly clicked and we were like, yeah, let's just get Anna out then. And then we went right to Aziza and Quinn. We had it all set up. But I think it was, we should have sent Sean. It should have been the minority that told like Jacob. If Sean confronted Jacob alone, I feel like he would have been more willing because it would have been another Danimal flipping with him. So I feel like we shouldn't have brought up the plan. That was a mistake. But
it was a very poorly executed plan, just like from start to finish. Just thinking back on it, like I really didn't want anyone to notice anything was up. I wanted to do it very quickly, say this is the plan, just vote this way, we're not going to talk about it again, don't say anything. And then like that obviously didn't happen. So should have just like definitely prepared that more and made sure that everyone was on the same page with like what was going to happen. But
so you feel like if you don't have the social bonds with people, it's hard to make those strategic moves?
Well, I was sitting there. So we were at Tribal. I was sitting there with the immunity idol on my neck, and Aziza and Quinn were here. And I was sitting there like, you guys are on the bottom, interesting. Like, I didn't want to be the one to say, guys, let's vote somebody out, because then all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. Like, they got to want it for us to work together, right? So I was just kind of waiting for them to say anything. I was like, you guys are on the bottom. And they didn't say anything. I was like, okay. And then I got up and walked away, and I think they thought about it. And then came to me later and were like, let's do something. And I was like, hell yeah. But like I said, I just didn't want anyone to notice something was up. So I was like, okay, let's talk about it really quickly. All like not talk ever again. And then just like you saw what happened. So.
Yeah, I remember sitting on those lawn chairs and it was awkward. It was like for 3 minutes just silent.
Yeah, really.
And, yeah, it was.
My heart was thumping because I was like, am I gonna do this right now?
Because I was like, I know he wants me to say something.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say shit.
Hey, but you did though.
I did, and I ended up. Yeah, I was like, okay, we actually have to do something.
Yeah. So Maggie, what was your experience like? What was your journey like? And what do you feel like you gained from your experience on Survivor NCSU?
Ooh, interesting. I actually feel like, okay, my experience was very short-lived. Oh my god, that's crazy. And it was an interesting one. I definitely, I didn't play a great game. Like, I definitely came in very aggressive, and, that's not what Survivor's about. Survivor's not about making the strategic plays, it's about making friends. And the purpose of me being there was for that, but I also wanted to play the game as well. But the side of me that was like, I'm just here to make friends, didn't get shown. And I very much made very strategic plays very early on in the beginning, and I categorized people very quickly, and I just very logical STEM person, putting people in boxes, how does this do this, instead of actually getting to know the people around me.
Do you think had you gotten to know and then started to play hard that you would have done a lot better?
I don't know. I'm someone who's very, what Jameson said of I just talked. That wasn't even strategy for me. I just don't know how to keep my mouth shut.
And no, because then I opened my mouth and you were like, you shouldn't have said that.
No, literally, that was funny.
That was so funny, and I was like,
no,
you shouldn't have said that.
No, I know. No, I'm awful at keeping my mouth shut. I feel like even if I did get further in the game and had made friends and made trust stuff, I would have gotten voted out as earlier as well, just because I talk and I don't know how to fake anything. If you get me in a room with someone that I'm oh, we're voting you out, I don't know how to hide that. I have no idea. So,
So you're a hero, not a villain.
I wouldn't say that. Okay. I definitely would say in this season I was a villain. I do think that Vega would have done a lot better if I was not on the tribe. I definitely would have think that we would have gotten further, Ryder would have gotten further. I don't know about Jameson. But like, sorry, I love you, Bae, but they were all kind of gunning for you from season 1. They all got you. But like, I definitely think the people that I allied myself with that got out right after me would have gotten a lot further had I not been there. And you know, I'm grateful to see like how far, like I said before, Quinn and Aziza got, which is, you know, my fault for being like early categorizing, and it just like, I like it when people surprise me. I like a little bit of a, I underestimated you, but you're actually really cool. Like, I like that little bit of like, oh, I'm stupid. Like, humble me a little bit. Like, come on. Like, I got an ego, humble me. You know? And I appreciated that. And that really like made me form like a really good connection with like everybody here. Like, it's a lot easier for me now to like, even in life, go around and just like not judge people as much anymore because of my experience here.
Ryder, so I want to let you talk about your experience, but arguably I think you were in the most inconvenient and unfortunate situation of everyone. Talk about your experience. Does it speak to the perseverance that you have as a person outside of the game?
Honestly, I think I accomplished a lot more in this game in the four tribals I was here than I really thought I would ever be able to do. And like, I really showed myself that I am a fighter. Like, knew I wanted to be here, and I did not go out until the last vote was read, and I was walking up to you to give you my torch. Like, at the first tribal, I thought I knew what was happening, and I was on the wrong side of a vote and lost arguably my biggest ally at the time. Then at the second tribal, I had to.
And
vote
then
out.
you lost your biggest. No, because you lost the second one. Because this is so funny.
Okay.
Tell them what. Tell them
my
that.
philosophy.
No,
Okay.
wait. No, exactly. Tell them what you said to me.
Okay, so at the second tribal council, as you all saw, I turned to Lee. I don't even know if this the audio, which I don't think you can really hear it, but I turned to Lee and I said to Lee, I was like, "Are you voting for me?"
And I said yes.
So here I am thinking I'm screwed.
You said, "Are you voting for?" I don't even
Quinn.
remember. Quinn. And I thought, and then people started looking at us, and I said, Jared Leto. From Morbius.
So this whole time, I think Lee is voting for me, which now makes me have to vote for Lee, which was originally the plan. But like, I thought that Lee was turning on me. Well, yeah. Unfortunately, I wanted to save myself, and I knew the only way that I was able to get out of the hole was to turn on you.
It's okay.
And then after that, I get swapped, and now I'm swapped with probably my next biggest ally. So I'm 2 down right now. And now I'm swapped with Jay onto a tribe with 4 people who have not had to go to tribal council, have not had to turn on each other, have not had to vote anybody out. They're gonna be locked. So I'm like, shoot, here we are again. So in my head, I start thinking of plans. I'm like, I'm gonna take greed, and we're gonna say Jay got the advantage from exile. We're standing there, and Jay goes, well, I used my legacy advantage last tribal. Yeah. So there goes that plan. So now I'm standing there with Jay, and I can't go for greed now because I have to try and make these people like me. So the best thing I can do is make them not like Jay. So we leave greed after getting unlucky. We didn't even lose the challenge. We got drawn to lose the challenge. So now I'm walking back to camp with 4 people who are probably going to want me out, or Jay. And I knew it was one of us right off the bat. So as we're walking, the best thing I can do is say, Jameson's a snake. He did all this. Throw him under the bus. Say how much I hate the Vegas. Say how much I hate the Vegas tribe. Tell them everything that happened and make sure that they trusted me and not Jay. So when tribal comes around, I'm sitting with all 5 of them, and they're like, "You're good. We got you. All right, maybe I'll be fine." I vote out Jay. Now I'm 3 allies down. So here we go. Next tribal. Aziza joins the tribe, and my biggest mistake I'd say here is not talking to Aziza a lot and being like, "Hey, we need to work together here. If you got anything from exile that can save us, please let me know." And honestly, Aziza, I should have talked to you more there because I didn't, and that was my biggest mistake. Because maybe you would have given me the idol, maybe not. I would doubt it. I feel like you wouldn't do
No,
it.
if you made a good case, I would have. Bro, I'm
Well,
stupid.
sometimes I do.
But
So I feel like
idols, yeah.
I feel like that would have been my best move there, was to talk to Aziza more. But Aziza and Jacob talked a lot, so I was trying to like strengthen my relationship with Mark and Nikki because I thought that was my best bet. So we go to the challenge, we find out it's a double tribal, so I'm like, great, now I'm at 4. This is my 4th tribal, it's over for me. And I'm like, well, maybe I can push this onto Aziza. And I hate to say that, but I've been doing it for the past 3 tribals. Why not do it again?
It's working.
And here we go again to the challenge. We lose again. So I'm now at 4 losses. And then you reveal that we are exiling somebody. And I'm thinking, this is a gift from above. Like, I'm going to be safe here. Jameson and Caleb, they got my back. I'm going to be fine. They exile Aziza.
I tried to get them to exile you.
I tried to look as sad as I could. I tried to do this. I tried to say it right before. I was like, I've been to 3 tribals. Please give me a break. You know, I really wanted to play the pity card, but it didn't work. And they were afraid of Aziza's idol, which is totally valid. I get it. Aziza gets exiled, chooses Quinn, which I personally did not understand that decision.
No,
I know
it
you
was
explained it
stupid.
now. I wouldn't have done
Very
that. But so we walk into camp, and I'm like, I'm a little defeated because I know it's a very low chance that I survive this tribal. And in my head, I'm going through: do I fake an idol? Do I fake an advantage? Do I just go straight up? And honestly, in that moment, I think the best thing I could do is what I did, which was go to everybody one-on-one and plead my case. So all of us were standing there. It was me and Nikki, Jacob, Mark,
Sean.
and Sean. And we were all standing there, and I said to them, I was like, guys, I know I'm the outcast here. Like, I know this is an easy vote for you, and I know you can just vote me out, but I beg that you at least hear me out. And everybody heard me out. So I took them all one by one. I took Mark, I took Nikki, I took Sean, I took Jacob. Jacob's is a little complicated. Jacob asked me if I said his name, and I had to be honest with him because there was no point to lie. I was already in the worst position I could be in. Being labeled a liar was not going to be good for me, so I was honest. And I pled the case that Jacob was going to work with all the returnees at Merge, which I don't really think was true, but it was all I had.
It was not.
And I feel like I pled a case that there would be a majority alliance, and this was the time for the people on Danimals to say, hey, I made this move. And they could choose to play with their friends, which is what they've been doing up to that point, in my opinion. Or they could make a move, and I was pleading that actions speak louder than words. I could have taken Greed. I could have voted out Jay, and I didn't. Jacob has never had to prove himself. I've had to prove myself time and time again, and I've proven that I'm loyal. I'm not going to work with Vega at Merge. All this stuff that I was just saying to try and make them trust me. And they did hear me out, and I'm very happy that they gave me a chance, and I really do appreciate it because that did mean a lot to me to be able to at least fight for my spot in that game. But when we got to Tribal, I think Mark kind of left it to Nikki to make the decision is kind of what I was told, and the vibe was off, and I kind of thought that it was over. And surprisingly, that was a Tribal that I was least upset about because at that point, I'd given it my all, quite literally. There was nothing else I could do. And I left the game at least knowing that I did all that I could do, and there was really nothing else I could do. And I think when I got up and people were clapping and I was giving people were giving me fist bumps, and I went to give Nikki a fist bump and she gave me a hug. I literally still remember that because it's the only reason I didn't cry, and I'm very grateful that you did that. So I mean, it sucks that I was so unlucky time and time again with the swap and losing challenges and just getting a bad situation, but I think I really did try and make the best of all of my bad situations, and I did what I could, and the fact that I even survived 4 tribals, being in the minority, having to vote out 3 of my allies back to back to back, I was pretty impressed with myself, and I can't really be upset with that.
I have a question for you, Jamison, and you can speak on behalf of the STEM tribe. Do you feel like there was something in the STEM versus humanities that the STEM tribe had over the humanities that you just weren't able to show off in challenges? Because I do see, we have come to Merge. We have humanities voted off, STEM voted off, humanities voted off, STEM voted off, humanities voted off, STEM. So it's not like, even though the first 5 were all STEM,
right.
It wasn't like they all got decimated immediately into the Merge. So do you feel like it was just the challenges, or do you feel like there was something that STEM could have shown over humanities that they just weren't able to in the challenges?
I mean, I think it was a combination of 2 things. One, a lot of the challenges were more physical, and we're I don't know, I'm in comp sci, I don't know what you thought I was gonna do, but yeah. So part of it was just we just could not do the challenges, and then part of it was, I don't know, we were pretty fractured right off the start, and I think that you asked earlier if watching helped people prepare for Survivor or whatever. And I think no matter how much Survivor you watch, Real Survivor, NCSU Survivor, whatever, it will never prepare you for how much this game is controlled by subtle social decisions. Literally having a conversation with someone and laughing at what they say, interacting can solidify a bond, and you can't experience that until you're here. And I know that Danimals said, a lot of it was kumbaya and, boring for the first day of the game, but that is literally playing Survivor. 90% of Survivor is just, if you vibe with people. And I think that the fact that Vega wasn't able to do that subtle play and it went straight into strategic stuff, we were fractured from the start. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll take blame for that one. I'm sorry, genuinely.
I think also losing made it harder to win because you guys were saying your morale was so high that you guys kept winning because you were on a winning streak. We were down, and then we just got down and down, and I went to tribal 4 times before some of you even went once. Yeah. So it's we really were beaten down, and you guys, it's just a matter of your mind too. we weren't thinking right.
Jake, do you think, not taking anything away from the Humanities tribe because they were able to win over the STEM tribe, but do you think there's something in being a humanities major that maybe makes the morale higher and creates that bond that you all had that got you to win all those challenges?
I don't know if it does. I really think it was the morale and just being able to carry that momentum forward. Because then, we get to camp and we have just time to hang out and make a flag and name the duck in the pond or whatever.
What do you name He was a goose.
He was a goose.
Or
I'm
swan.
sorry.
Or something.
He was a bird. He was a bird.
Season 1, I thought it was real.
I wish it was. But just having time,
Yeah, that's what I thought it was real.
having time to bond like that really helped a lot, and I honestly think a lot of it comes down to that.
Well, I loved hearing everything that everyone had to say. We're gonna start wrapping this up. I did want to thank the production crew real quickly. Most of the production crew actually came from season 1. So we were very thankful for their help and all they're able to do for the season. We wouldn't have been able to do it without the production crew. So one more round of hands for the production crew. I also wanted to give another special shout out to Lewis and Cayden for the video and production side of it. There were a lot of cameras and a lot of footage to deal with, and it's a lot of work, and I appreciate them a lot for managing that and figuring that all out, so thank you. Also, speaking of production, I actually haven't told this person, but I wanted to see, we actually have a winner in the house besides Mark here. Kyle, if you want to come up here. Yeah! Come on up! You can go right here if you want.
It's the true one.
So this is our season 1 winner, winner side by side. I actually wanted to ask you, Kyle, so you are the season 1 winner and you were able to see everyone play as you were on the production crew. So if you were to assign an award, the Kyle Award, to anyone on this tribe for being the best player of the entire season, based off of anything that you want to choose to base it off of, who would you give the Kyle Award to?
I would say I'll probably give it to Anna if I had to. I do think Anna played probably the most strategic and controlling game of everyone, and I do think if you were able to get Mark out earlier, at 6, then you 100% win the game. I mean, you could even win I don't know. It's just it's very hard to win Survivor, and it takes a lot of luck, and it just didn't. The cards didn't fall, and yet you still made final 2 and got 2 jury votes. So so I would give it to you.
Thank you.
Anna's the winner of the first Kyle Award.
Yeah!
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you. Also, I did want to do a brief little send-off to our graduates of the cast. Mark and Jacob are going to be leaving us. Pretty sure everyone else is staying at least another semester, right? Okay, so it's just Mark and Jacob. I wanted to thank y'all for your contribution to NCSU Survivor. Thank you for playing with us. Thank you for volunteering to be on production, even if it didn't work out that way. I just love the charisma and all that y'all brought to the game. So thank you so much for joining us, and I hope everything goes well with you and your future careers and pursuits in life. So thank you so much. Okay, we can wrap this up. So I wanted everyone to individually go through and 5-10 seconds just say what you are most proud of your game. Maggie, we can start with you.
Libra.
All right, Lee.
I'll get him next time.
All right, Ryder.
I'm gonna say I'm a lot more persistent than I thought.
Oh, that's awesome. Jameson.
It took my own ally not giving me a numbers advantage for me to get out, so that was cool.
Jake, what are you most proud of?
Coming back and redeeming myself even a little bit.
Making it to the jury! Aziza, what are you most proud of?
Finding 2 idols and then making one. That's kind of fun.
Yeah. Jacob?
Tying with what I did last time.
Nice. Caleb?
Putting in the effort. I put in that real work.
Maggie, have you figured out what you wanted to say?
Friendship.
Friendship. Sean, what are you most proud of your game?
Being the first trader, playing hard.
Yeah. Good TV. Quinn, what are you proud of?
Making friends with people who want to vote you out.
Nikki, what are you most proud of?
I'm happy that I really made some strong bonds.
Lindsay?
Outlasting.
Anna, what are you most proud of?
Basically like knowing nothing about Survivor and making it here.
And Mark?
I'm proud of the relationships I was able to form. These are all incredible people that I would not have known if I didn't decide to come do this. And you all are fantastic. And I'm glad that we all share something that we all really care about. And I'm proud of winning.
Alrighty, awesome. Well, I want to do another big thank you to our Survivor Season 2 cast. Y'all were great. Made an amazing season. You can clap for that. I think that deserves a clap. Great job, each and every one of you. We'll see you in Season 3. Goodbye, and thank you, everyone.